Yo, mic check, mic check. Sorry about that. Did you get me now? See, that's why I wanted to check my audio there real quick. So let's start this over. What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am always your host, Edwin. And where do all fights start? Let's fix this right here. Where do all fights start?
Round one.
All right. We had to make sure that our audio is coming in loud and clear there. And thank God that I did check, because I don't want to get into one of those where we've done that before in the past. So, fight fans, we have a lot of boxing to talk about. I wanted to hop on and ask you guys what you guys think about Terrence Crawford's situation, and where does he go from here? And we have a lot of boxing that we need to catch up um, and talk about. So feel free, drop it in the comment sections. What boxing matches, what topics interest you, and what would you like to talk about here at Round One Sports TV? Like always, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, become a Round One Sports Talk member, and like always, let's hop right into this episode. What's up, fight fans? How you guys doing out there? Thank you for tuning in. What's up, guys? Salute. Uh, Crypto Robin, yo, there's a lot that's been going on in boxing, man. I've been in the gym, training and doing a lot of other things with the fam and stuff like that, but always keeping my ear to the streets, and thank God that I have you guys too as well, to be able to relate back topics and boxing. What's up? And I find this really interesting that I was watching an interview, right, on Mill City with David the Monster Benavidez's dad, senior, and he was alluding to the possibility, yeah, they would be interested in a fight with Terrence Crawford, and that he would be willing to go down after the Yarde fight. You know, Yarde even made a comment about that fight, and him going back down to 168 pounds to fight Terrence Crawford. What do you guys think about that? After the fight, remember, Turkey Al-Rashid had came out, right? And he had alluded to the fight. He says, because you guys know how Turkey is, right? He's got all this money, and he's just like, he's 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 like a green fan, I would say, in the sport of boxing, where he's led by big names, big attractions, right? His job title back in Saudi is what? The head of entertainment, Turkey Al-Sheikh, right? Okay. So he's thinking, he's not really thinking matchmaking, you know? And then other people are saying, well, then, Edwin, why are you babying Terrence Crawford? If you wanted Saul Canelo Alvarez to fight David the Monster Benavidez, then what the hell is wrong with Terrence Crawford fighting David the Monster Benavidez? I just don't like the style matchup, because what was one of the things I said here on Round One Sports Talk? I said to you guys, I think that Terrence Crawford can devise a game plan to beat one guy, Saul Canelo Alvarez. I really think so, right? What's up, Mark? How you doing? Yo, you think it would be a really good fight? You think it would be a good fight? Now, like check it out, right? Remember, So Turkey comes out, right? And he's like, yo, quickly, quick. He's like, yo, David the Monster Benavidez versus Terrence Crawford. They asked Bomac in the back in the locker room. And Bomac said, oh, hell no. Bomac had already shot down the possibility of the fight. Oh no, we don't want that fight. He already said that. Man, I wish I would have got the video. I forget who it was. Whether it was one of I don't want to give the wrong person credit. So now I got to go do my homework and track that video down. But if you've seen it, I saw it right after the fight when they asked Bomac. He said, "Oh hell no, he don't like that fight." So I was like, "Okay, cool." I didn't, I kept it pushing, but I knew Turkey was gonna be like, bam, bam, and sure enough, man, sure enough, David the Monster Benavidez Sr. already said, "Yo, check it out. We'll go down. We'll go down and we'll fight um Terrence Crawford." And I gotta admit one thing. I gotta admit one thing. When we talk about the double standards in boxing, I had to ask myself, Edwin, are you having double standards right now? Because I didn't like the fight for Terrence Crawford versus David the Monster Benavidez because I thought David would be too big for him, right? David's already fighting upwards of 175 and doing fairly well. Beat the brakes off David Morale, you know, and he's about to beat the brakes off and Yarde. So I just think that he's too big, even in size and everything. I'm not sure that David's senior there, right, can guarantee his son can still make 168. You know, I he well, he was saying that he had problems making the weight, but he mainly moved up in weight. Why? Because he wasn't getting a shot at the belts at Saul. Saul is saying no, 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 shooting him down. So kind of it was never definitively proven that he couldn't make 168. It was more like he left the division because he saw no opportunity. So is it a case? And then I always look at a boxer's track record throughout their career. And I can't help but notice that David the Monster Benavidez has always been a heavy set kid. You ever see his amateur and training videos when he was a kid? He was fat. He always had a problem with his weight. And for his height, fighting at 168, and as he gets older, it would be a lot harder for him to cut weight. I know Senior over there is like, and then, I don't want to bring this up. I don't want to shit on nobody, but the truth is the truth, right? And facts are facts. These things are out there. Did David the Monster Benavidez test positive for cocaine in another fight? Did you guys? So, okay. Can he make this weight? I'm not sure. I'm not in his camp. I'm just asking these questions. I know and I see David the Monster Benavidez's weight problems throughout his entire career. Sometimes he seems to have it under control. Sometimes he gains weight in between fights. Uh as of late, he's been sporting a kind of skinny face, like a slender kind of look. I haven't really been looking him up lately, but now that his name's being thrown around with Terrence Crawford, obviously, you know, bingo, there it is. You know, um, yeah, if Terrence Crawford went up to 168 pounds, He has an obligation to that division now. He won all the belts. It's no more a thing like, oh, Terrence, he's at the tail end of his career. Well, then you shouldn't have went and putting your nose in business you couldn't handle. So we have to treat you as such. You're the 168-pound, undisputed champion of the world. You're gonna have to act like one. Unfortunately, that comes with the job title. You took on the responsibility. You have an obligation to the division to defend the belts or move on. I'm not sure. I'm not here to tell you exactly what to do, Mr. Terrence Crawford. The choice is yours and only solely you and your team. You guys, I believe you guys will make the right choice and what direction you want to go in. There is an option where Terrence Crawford can vacate those belts and go down to 160, and lock another division in, which for glory, and everything else, I mean, it would just put the cherry on top. No, I'm not going to sit here and say pick straws with your hairs and say he needs that for his legacy. Hell the hell, no, he doesn't. He's already 3-time undisputed. That's a done deal, baby. He's going down as one of the greatest. But having one more division, 6 divisions, passing Floyd Mayweather in 5 divisions, meaning Floyd, one of the greats, had 5. Oscar De La Hoya has 6 weight divisions. There's only 2 people in boxing history, Manny Pacquiao and Oscar De La Hoya, have 6 weight divisions. That's a very prestigious room to be in. Very prestigious. And if you was to do that, Terrence Crawford, you would be the number 1 in that room, being the fact that you have all 4 belts in 3 separate weight divisions with 6 divisions out of the among peers. No one is touching you. So you would also be number 1 in the room with 6 divisions. So that's me being a legacy guy. I'm a numbers guy. I love the belts. I love legacy. I love what they stand for. That means that you were the baddest mofo in your sport. That's what that means. When you walk in, the champ is here. You know what it is. You know what it is. You're not explaining to people that you were the toughest. You're not telling people, oh, I knock people out. I'm Tank Davis. Yo, Tank Davis, move to the side. I want to talk to the champion. The undisputed 3-time world champion. Possibly can be 6th division world champion. I want to talk to that guy. Step to the side, bro. Step to the side. Come on, guys. Let's just, that's just what it is in the sport. And what makes Tom Brady the greatest football player of all time? 7 rings. That's what makes him the greatest. 7 rings. What makes Michael the best? 6 championships. 3-peats, back to back, 3-3, 3-3, like that. That's what makes those guys the best. What makes our champions the best? The belts, the divisions they climb, the champions they beat, stuff like that, which cements you as what? A real world champion. And amongst champions, there are different kinds of champions, as you can see. All champions are what? World champions at the end of the day. But there are levels to this. There are levels to boxing, and there are levels to being a champion inside the sport of boxing. You know, when we look back in history, when we look back at what Terrence Crawford has been able to accomplish thus far, his career is not over, guys. His career is not over. And he has an opportunity to see. Terrence Crawford is in a unique situation where you want to be as a fighter. Not many fighters reach this kind of plateau where that they can call the shots. See, he can take another fight, but it could be like a money fight, or he could take another fight and it could be a legacy fight. When you're the type of fighter that has these kinds of options, man, the world is your oyster, isn't it? He can definitely go for a money fight, which a lot of people have suggested and thrown around the possibility or rumor that the one and only Floyd Mayweather would come out of retirement and fight Terrence Crawford. I would advise against that, you know, Floyd. I would say stay in your retirement. Um, you know, you had your time and this is Terrence's time. If you ask me personally, we're just in Terrence Crawford's era right now. And some of us are a prisoner in the moment. It's what you see or what you've been seeing for the last few years. What I've been seeing for the last 10, 15 years is Bud Crawford and little glimpses of Floyd in exhibitions, but just Terrence Crawford. It's his era. When I go back and I watch Floyd's tapes and I see and I remember what Floyd and who Floyd once was, the things he did to fighters like Diego Corrales and so forth, make no mistake. Um, if I could have a prime Floyd Mayweather and a prime Terrence Crawford, I would always go with Floyd. I would always have to go with Floyd. Um, I'm just I'm I'm just in the notion that as good as Floyd Mayweather was, he really never had his great equal, the greatest of the greatest dancing partner. If Terrence Crawford, well, he did. He had the Zab Judas, the Shane Mosleys, like that. But a guy that in my head, what let me back that up and let me retract that because I overspoke there. I was thinking of a guy that can switch lefty and righty like that. And I failed to mention that. That's the way I was viewing Terrence Crawford and as that opponent. Not that Floyd didn't come up against a fighter such as Terrence, but a fighter such as Terrence that could switch lefty to righty. So because I'm thinking of Terrence Crawford in his prime now, against a prime Floyd, right? And you're gonna give me Floyd though as money. I want young, strong hand Floyd, the brutal puncher that Floyd was. I want that version. Give me any version of Terrence Crawford you want. And I just think that every single time that Zab Judas, the Shane Mosley stepped to Floyd, yo, he got better, man, in the ring. It raised Floyd to a level. I would love, oh my God, I would love to see Terrence in his prime. Like if an AI can like computer generate some shit like that, man, would that be awesome to witness. That would be awesome. But I would rock with Floyd. He's just um I give him just the slight edge, but you can never count Terrence out, huh? Can you, right? Um, and that would just be opinionated. Well, we would never know the true answer. None of us. Some of us would definitely have Floyd, and some of us would have Terrence. You know, it would be a great fight. I just, you know, uh Floyd was something else. He really was. He was just something else, and I just think that that would be like a super mega. It would be like Superman fighting Superman. No Superman Batman shit. No. It'd just be straight up Superman fighting Superman. That would be it. But as far as competition, I gave Floyd the edge. as far as that. But we would never know. We would never know. Just like what they're saying right now about Terrence Crawford's win against Saul. What they're saying right now is, what version of Saul Canelo Alvarez did Terrence Crawford beat? Did he actually beat a highly decorated, more accomplished fighter, but a fighter on a decline because of the fact of boxing mileage? We all know Saul got upwards of more than 60 professional boxing matches. And like any athlete, it's wear and tear on the body. Saul might be young in age because he started his career at 15 years old, right? But Saul Canelo Alvarez has a lot of boxing miles. Although highly decorated, more accomplished, more experienced, he might have been battered. Did Floyd beat a younger, more craftier, faster, stronger version of Saul? And Floyd was older at 36. Now, you can't say a lot of people try to give Saul Canelo Alvarez that excuse of him being young and inexperienced at the age of 23. And that's just a smokescreen. That's bullshit. Because Saul Canelo Alvarez was already a multiple division world champion. He already had 33 professional fights. He was already a world champion, 23. He was at the pinnacle. He started early, remember? So for a fighter being 23, starting his career at 15, he had major experience. They just trying to blind you with his age at the time, 23. Oh, young 23. No bullshit. Didn't he start early? That's why he has 60 professional fights now. His experience was way that much more than a kid at 23 years old. Mind you, he was a world champion, battle tested and everything, undefeated Saul Canelo Alvarez. So when I look at it like that, I have to assess my first assessment. My first assessment was, I thought that Terrence was fighting a more, how do you say, fine wine aged Saul Canelo Alvarez and primed in shape, but Terrence Crawford made him look a bit worn down, I would say. Because I got to admit, that's the best shape Saul Canelo Alvarez I've seen in years. That was against Terrence Crawford. That was the best in shape Saul Canelo Alvarez I've seen in a long time. He wasn't that good in shape against Edgar Berlanga, Jaime Munguia. He didn't look like that. He didn't look like that against William Skull. Saul, that was the best version I seen. Yo, you can tell that Saul gave it everything. He just, he's battered, bro. Let me answer some of y'all questions. Let me get up and catch up with some of y'all. What's up, guys? Thank you for joining in. How you guys doing? Let me start off from here. Let me see where was I anyway in the chats. Let me throw this up on the screen over here. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Where are y'all messages at? Okay. I got to make this bigger. I can barely see anything. But if I make it bigger over here, it doesn't matter as long as I can read it. Here we go. There we go. I should have been doing this a long time ago. David the Month of Benavidez would be a great fight. Yes. Mark says, yeah, I'm crypto right. Will he that boxing might will get. Well, you was rooting for Bud though? Yeah. Number one in the chat right now for the most texts. Well, it's not that he's more angry. I think when he does like them Riaz shows, Saul Canelo Alvarez, right? Um, I just think that Saul put a lot on the line that night. He put a lot. He put his reputation, Mexico backing him, the four belts. Uh, can you guys envision a world where Canelo Alvarez is beltless? Well, guess what? I woke up this morning. He has no belts. That's crazy, huh? It doesn't even feel like it makes sense. Did you guys go to Box Rec and check out Saul Canelo Alvarez's ranking? And I'm just like, this is not real. Pinch, somebody wake me up. It's like Canelo Alvarez right now has no belts. What? Like the world doesn't even make sense right now, right? And it's like everything got flipped upside down. So, look, me personally, uh yeah, I think I read this when you were rooting for Bud. Yeah, I know this whenever kind of yeah, I saw that one. He at Ria. What? What is tacos? Okay, I think it's a bad for his mental health, a little bit for what it's worth. A beast. Ah, thank you, thank you. Well, I didn't. I hope I didn't look too sharp in the thing, porque el coach no quería que yo enseñara mucho. No, eso fue un video ahí, so no diga nada, you know. Este, yo me veo mejor, créame, el, so, ellos querían que yo ponía un video y yo lo puse ahí así, so, no te preocupes. Para que, pa mi gente que entiendan, entiende. No me choteen, ¿entiende? No me tiran al medio. Nese habla español también, so, él quizá me tira al medio. No, no, no. Vamos a ver si él brega, ¿entiende? Floyd beats Canelo more. Well, you know, look, I, 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 I'm starting to look at it slightly different when they both fought each other, when the Floyd Mayweather fought Saul versus the Terrence Crawford that fought him now. It was, I saw Saul Canelo Alvarez's effort. I saw you can't say he didn't prepare for this fight. Saul Canelo Alvarez showed up for this fight. Terrence was just the better man. That's all. Sometimes somebody's just better than you on that night. They could be a night where you could beat him. Okay. But on that night, he beat you. He had a game plan. They devised a game plan. They executed it to perfection. And he was able to walk away with the victory. What does that mean now? What does that mean for the division and Terrence Crawford? Terrence Crawford's track record with the divisions and having the belts and the way he chooses to manage his status as a champion, that's up to Terrence Crawford. Some people might frown on it. Some people might criticize him, but one thing they can't call him is not the champion because that's exactly what Mr. Terrence Crawford, the undisputed, let me check myself, okay? The undisputed world champion of the world, Mr. Bud Crawford. Okay. Rightfully, deservedly so. Call him for what he is. He is the man right now. Now, I don't know anybody that can argue if he's not the number one pound for pound fighter in the world right now. Hands down, sorry, Usyk. Um, that heavyweight belt shit, bro, guys. Let's you got the most prestigious belt in all of boxing, the heavyweight championship of the world, bro. Let's stop with this favoritism. Okay, we get it that you got the best belt, but accolades are accolades and achievements are achievements. And then Terrence Crawford jumped up another, what was it? Two, arguably by fans, three weight divisions. Come on, definition of pound for pound. It is what it is. When I said Naoya Inoue was the best because activity, it was the truth. That was the God honest truth. And he's putting up all four belts. And he broke a record of just defending the four belts 5 record time. So he's doing better shit than Usyk is. Naoya Inoue. But that 3 shit that Terrence Crawford did? Naoya Inoue. I'm sorry, man. Nope. Mm-mm. I love Naoya anyway, man. I think he's like the best. He is the best fighter right now. Because Terrence is going down a little bit. My man, he's something else. But accomplishment wise, big dog in the room. Nah, Papa. Terrence Crawford, number 1, baby. Number 1. And that is just the truth. There's no sharing. I'm not going to say he's the best down here. He's the best up there types. No, Terrence is number 1 across the board. That is it. For pound anyway. And then I respectfully so say Naoya Inoue is number 2 and Usyk's number 3. That's it. Usyk just got them belts back, right? So let's see if he defends them. But Naoya Inoue defended all 4 belts, a record-breaking 5 times. No fighter in history has defended all 4 belts in a 4-belt era 5 times. So he's going down in the record books for that. That's a record, So it's not like a record 50-0, retiring 50-0. That's not a record. It's just a personal thing. They don't give you an award for that, So there's been a lot of men that have over 50 undefeated fights, but they got to retire with it or whatever. But yeah, like not a record, but defending 4 belts 5 times consecutively in the row. Oh yeah, that's a record. The one thing, unfortunately, that Naoya Inoue had to give up was his knockout streak in championship fights in a row. Yeah, in his last fight, in his last outing versus MJ, he went the distance with MJ, which was a very great performance by Naoya Inoue. The 12 rounds, going to the scorecard really doesn't tell the story of the fight because it was a one-sided event. Naoya Inoue beat down, outsmarted, outboxed, out everything. He just straight up beat MJ. And he had MJ at times looking very frustrated in the fight. And shout out to Naoya Inoue for executing another title defense and future potential fights in the future. We'll be talking about that young man and on future videos. So back to Terrence Crawford and David the Monster Benavidez. Listen, guys. If you're just tuning in, please don't forget to give the videos like for me. Hit that like button. Look, we can't show favoritism. We can't, guys. If David the Monster Benavidez comes down to 168 and he can make that weight and Turkey Ali offers that money to Terrence Crawford to fight him, and let's just say that Terrence Crawford says no, does that make Terrence Crawford a duck? Yes or no? Let me know in the chats right now. If you criticize Saul Canelo Alvarez for not fighting David the Monster Benavidez, we all gave Saul shit for years. We said 2.5 years it was, 3 years or whatever it was. He avoided from fighting David the Monster Benavidez. So, if David the Monster Benavidez can come down after the Yarde fight, if he's successful or not, doesn't really matter, I don't think, right? Comes down to 168 and he can make the weight. Turkey offers the fight to Terrence Crawford, right? To fight him. And he says no and passes up on the fight. Would that be considered a duck? Does Terrence Crawford get the same standard and the same treatment as Saul? Or are we just a bunch of fans that are picking and choosing uh the bias when to, the double standards in the sport? Are we lifting our skirt here? Is this a situation where boxing is revealing itself to us in real time? In real time. Because if you did it for one, you got to do it for the other. Am I right? Am I right or am I wrong? Right? So what do you guys think? I'm scrolling down. I gotta see what you guys are saying. Prime Bud Breeze, Prime Floyd, respect, respect. Yeah, well, hmm, gotcha. All right, yeah, I'm gonna about to do that right now. That way we can talk. I've said everything I really wanted to say and talk. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. Feel free to join with respect, everybody. We respect here on Round One Sports Talk. It's a safe platform that I will respect all your views and opinions. Respectfully, the only thing I do not talk about on my show is religion and politics. We will not go down those roads, and let's just keep it boxing and have a great show. So let me put on my headphones if you guys are gonna start to come on. Yeah, we can hear you guys. Here we go. We got the first. What it do? What it do? What it do? Mic check. Mic check. Waiting for him to see if he get his audio.
Mic check, mic check.
Got you, Hugo.
What up, my brother? How we doing? Round one. How we doing, mi hermano?
How we doing? Good, good, fam. We're doing good, Staying focused, staying the course. Wanted to come on, hop on, and talk boxing. What's up,
Yes,
Carlos? I see
sir.
you just joining.
Yes, sir.
What's
Me
up?
too, man. Wanted to get in here, bro. Talk some boxing. Give my salutes to Terrence Bud Crawford, the new American superstar. Give him his respect. Give him his due diligence. Give him his roses, like they say, and that he was the better man that night. He did beat Canelo, but I had it closer than what everyone had it. I had it a 7-5. I felt
Okay.
Canelo was winning the earlier rounds with ring generalship. He was pushing the pace. Canelo was landing some shots. So was Terrence Crawford. But Canelo is a champion, and he was showing the ring generalship. And you know how that goes. The champions always come on top when it's ring generalship. You feel me? You
Mhm.
gotta take the belt. Now, I'm not
Right.
taking nothing away for Terrence Bud Crawford. Like I said, as a Mexican American, I'm happy that he won. Was I going for him? No. I don't gotta lie. I was going for my Mexican brethren. But as a United States citizen, I am happy that we do have a new American superstar. His name is Terrence Bud Crawford. Actually, yesterday I was in some trouble. I had a flat tire, and I was like, "Will Terrence Bud Crawford come help me?" Check this out, Terrence Bud Crawford, Super Bud. You feel me?
Yeah.
Respectfully, but yeah, man, just wanted to come on here and see how you scored that fight.
Well, I saw the fight. I wanted to actually go back and watch it again. I haven't had the opportunity yet to really sit down and watch it again. But the first time I saw the fight, I felt that Terrence Crawford won the fight. I thought that it was a little bit closer, but um there were a lot of swing rounds there. There were a lot of
Exactly.
rounds that I saw that it could have went either way, but respectfully so, I think that the right man did win.
Yeah,
Whether
yeah.
whether
I'm mad
whether
at that. I'm mad
whether
at that.
I feel it was a round better or less than most people had, I don't think that really matters. I think that the decision was the decision, and I think that the right decision was red for what I saw. Now,
Facts.
uh, um, as both fighters, I got to admit that was the best version of Saul Canelo Alvarez I saw in a long time. He looked very much in shape. I just think that he's reached the point in his career, 60 plus fights. It's all catching up to him. He has boxer mileage on him,
For sure.
you know.
Definitely high
And
mileage. Definitely high
yes,
mileage.
yes, he does. Starting your
Yeah.
career at 15 years old, all that sparring, all that fighting, it's got to weigh on you. Okay. I don't think his body kicked in. I think he was uh a an accomplished champion. He had a lot of experience, but I just think that his body wasn't responding at the level that he would have liked it to, and I think that that showed up. And I think that Terrence Crawford prepared and trained his whole life for this moment. He came up for good game plans. And kudos for him for executing and showing that, when we saw Jamel Charlo come up and try to do it, he's not Jamel Charlo. And he tried to tell the world, I'm a different type of person, and an athlete, and I'm going to prepare and, train different. And he did. He did. So, but now, Hugo, let's talk about
Yes.
the elephant in the room.
For
Now that
sure.
you
For sure.
went
For sure.
now that you went up there putting your nose in business, right? Uh Now you have an obligation to the division.
Those
Now
are facts. Those are facts. Those are facts.
you
I want to
have
look
a
at this like a little
responsibility,
reset. For sure.
to the division because you went up there, you thought about fighting this one guy, but when you woke up the next day, guess what? You probably got a bunch of emails from 168 pounders talking about they want to fight. They want an opportunity. Where are we going from here? And Turkey Al-Sheikh throwing around. Guess what? Saul Canelo Alvarez's old beef, David the Monster Benavidez. And what does this spell? What does this spell for boxing? Another shot for the Mexicans to get at Mr. Bud Crawford in the US of A. Because
Yes.
the Monster Benavidez is Mexican.
Look, about that, good thing. Let me give my opinion on that one.
Let's
So
roll.
I don't wanna make it seem like that we're pushing for that fight heavy. Now he did inherit the the Saul Canelo Alvarez beef. Now if Benavidez gets through Yard, I definitely think that that would be a mega fight. Like everyone's
Mhm.
been hearing, if Terrence Bud
Right,
Crawford wants a stadium fight, wants 100 million plus, that's the
right.
only fight to make. I definitely don't think that Turkey Alishi will give him 100 million to fight Bivol. That's what I don't think. Now, will Bivol and Terrence Bud Crawford be a great
Hmm.
fight? Absolutely. Absolutely, it'll be an amazing fight, but definitely Benavidez would trump that with the stadium fight. Now, as at the point where you say that all the Mexicans would be behind David Benavidez because we'll feel like we get our get back. I don't want to see petty like that, but at the end of the day, that's what it's gonna come down to. David and Monster Benavidez has the opportunity here to alley hoop all the Canelo fans to his side because if
right?
he beats Terrence Crawford, literally all the Canelo fans will be like, "Yo, thanks, man. You got it back in blood for us." Now
Right.
this could be a double-edged sword because if
Yep.
David Benavidez loses that fight, then now the Mexican fans are down bad. Not only
Yeah.
did Terrence Bud Crawford beat a Mexican icon like Saul Canelo Alvarez, but he will be beating theoretically a young hot Mexican champion. So
And the
this is the
top
sport of
Mexican guys
boxing.
that the Mexico has to offer in respectfully in their division range.
Yes, yes. I mean, yes. See, but this is the other thing. Now, would you be mad if Terrence Bud Crawford would be like, look, fans, look, Mexicans, look, Turkey, look, David, I'm down to give you that opportunity at 168 pounds, but I'm definitely putting your ass in a 15-pound rehydration clause. Now, how would you? Now, how would you take that? Now, Terrence Bud Crawford's like, bro. I came down from 135 to 147 to 154 to 168. You're a naturally bigger guy than me, bro. You know, Saul said I wouldn't fight you because you bring nothing but 200 pounds, and that's true. I'm gonna give you the
Right.
opportunity, but I'm gonna put your ass on a rehydration clause, 15 pounds. No more than 15 pounds the day of the fight day. Now, take it or leave it. Now, what would your outcome and what would your opinion be if Terrence Bud Crawford, Superman Bud, will put this guy in a rehydration clause? What would you say about that?
Okay. All right. Okay. If I'm thinking about the safety and the well-being of my fighter, Terrence Crawford, and I was a Terrence Crawford, of course I would want that. Of course, David the Monster Benavidez fan is going to look at it, or his camp, or his team is going to look at it as, "Yo, what are you guys scared of?" You know what I'm saying? Like, let us fight, rightfully so, like any other fight. Now, as far as Terrence Crawford, I would probably insist on a rehydration claw with David the Monster Benavidez. I would insist on one just to even the playing field a little bit, right? And in the sense of, well, then fuck it. You're the one that's coming down from 175 to 168. You're already hydrating. You've already had fights at 175 fighting bigger guys. At some point, um, you can't just go by, "Oh, that's fucked up." I don't care what you guys say. I'm thinking about my well-being or my safety of my fighter as a coach. And as a coach and a manager, nah, you're gonna, when Edgar Berlanga fought Saul, he came in that night all of 200 pounds.
For sure.
And
For
that
sure.
I
And
felt
and
like,
these are
damn,
facts.
Edgar,
These
bro,
are
bien
facts. There's
abusador,
paperwork.
bien
Yeah, of course.
abusador. You
Yeah.
know, I was like, "Come on, Edgar, what are you doing?" Like, but anyway, Saul packed them up. But yeah, man. I mean, what did you think about the rehydration when Tank did it to Ryan? And what? Let me ask you your opinion on it. How do you see it? Maybe you might not see it the same way. What do you think about it? Would you
I
put a
mean,
rehydration claw on him?
Ryan is the big boy. So I do see Tank's point, but I just, I for me as a boxing fan, when they talk about Tank and Ryan, the first things that comes to my mind was rehydration clauses. You get me? But I know for
Yeah.
your average boxing fan, they probably don't even know what a rehydration clause is. So it's a double-edged sword, my amigo. I mean,
Yeah.
as boxing fans, hardcore, we're definitely gonna remember that rehydration clause. Now,
So what
and the
about the David? Yeah, and Terrence. So what about that situation?
I would say that all his fans are gonna give him the pass and be like, a rehydration clause is justified. But us,
Right.
as on the other side, will be like, yo, bro, why are you trying to rehydrate this dude? But their excuse is always gonna be, nah, he's a big dude. But at the end of the day, the last say so, you know who it is that man
Turkey.
with the white dress,
Yeah,
respectfully. That's the
Turkey.
that's the head honcho, and that's the guy that says yes or no. That's the guy that says jump high, this high, or go over there, or don't
Right.
do this. He's the last say
Hold my
so.
hand.
So
Hold my hand.
exactly. So as a matter of fact, I've never even heard that Turkey is okay with a rehydration clause. Can you think? Oh wait, the only fight that I could think of that he has something to do with a rehydration clause is the Ben and the Eubank. But I don't even know if that was a Riyadh season card. So there
Yeah, it
has
was.
been a
Yes.
rehydration clauses involved in his cards. So I
Yep.
mean, we can't be surprised if there is, because I was trying to think about a fight that he said okay with a rehydration clause in. Well, it's the Chris Eubank and the
Yeah.
uh, uh, Connor
On a
Ben.
man.
So I mean,
Right.
he's definitely been involved with rehydration classes before. But I think we're getting too ahead of ourselves. I think that there's smoke for David already. Now, if David, of course, we want him to fight at 168 with Terrence Bud Crawford, but there's plenty of smoke for him at 175, man. There's
Yeah.
there's Anthony Yarde, there's Smith, there's
The
Better
Bivol.
Beef, there's Bebo,
Yeah.
like there's
Yeah.
plenty of smoke for him. But what does Terrence Crawford do for here? You know? So
Well,
man,
yeah.
I feel sorry for the guys at 168. I feel sorry
Yeah.
for the Christian and Billy's. I feel
Me
sorry
cago
for
en
the
la
Diego
madre, bro. That
Pachecos.
fucking
I feel,
division, bro.
bro, that division been on a halt
They
for
need
the
to free
last.
those belts. Free the belts.
They need to see. So look, so
Freedom.
look, so look. Good thing you brought that up, round one, because when Terrence Bud Crawford's been undisputed, he, I myself talk shit about him never defending it. But if you look at the other side, it benefits the division because he's undisputed. He vacates now all the belts, all the sanctioning bodies. You got new talent, new blood fighting for these belts. So hopefully this division could get freed up. Now I'm gonna tell
Right.
you this. I definitely know in the next 3 to 6 months, the IBF will definitely order their mandatory, which is Ocelis Iglesias to fight for that IBF. Now I don't think Terrence Bud Crawford fights him, so I think that belt gets vacated.
Well, throughout the history with Terrence Crawford and all the divisions he's climbed up, he hasn't really been the type of champion that has a whole bunch of title defenses, only at 147 with the WBO. When he was in the pursuit of, in the division 147 to chase down Errol Spence Jr., he wanted to stay active. And I think that's the only reasons why he defended that belt, that WBO a few times there. Just because he was waiting to fight one guy for three belts. But after he won the three belts, the IBF had to strip him a year later and award Ron Butenis because those belts were just collecting dust on his shelf. They were never defended. He goes up to 154 and he gets another belt at 154. He never defends that belt. That belt is still held up. Is he still currently the champion at
No,
154?
no. The dude that beat Tellez, the African brother,
Just got a key
just got
word.
elevated. Yeah, just got
Jets got
elevated.
elevated until the
Yeah,
to the moment he wins four belts
yeah,
and he released it, held it hostage.
yeah.
You
That's a
know,
fact. That's a fact.
Eh,
That's a fact.
no, we gotta
There's
talk like
paperwork on
it
it.
is, okay? And
Yeah,
then now, what do we think is going to happen in this situation? Now, track record, track record. These are all facts. I'm not putting anybody down. Nobody say that I ever put Terrence Crawford down. I never said he stinks or he says any of that. I'm pointing out statistical facts, and criticism can sometimes be harsh, but although it is criticism, never putting down a fighter. Let's just remind the people, okay? So,
yeah,
Terrence Bud Crawford, on average, fights once a year for the past 6 years. Now, there is a gap in time where he fought two times back to back in that span, and I'll look it up for you. I'm going to show you because there's going to be a fan that says, no, right here, he fought twice a year. But on average, you know what average means? On
Yeah.
average, he only fights once a year for the past. Let's just break this down. I'm going to go all the way up to 2000 and let's say 2020, right? 2020. Oh no, we can go up. 2019 he fought twice. 2018 he fought twice. 2017 he fought twice. 2016 he fought twice. 2015 he fought once. But let's go to 2020, right? Okay, 2020 he fought one time. Kell Brook. He fought Sean Porter 2021. He fought Devin Evanesian in 2022. That's one fight. That's one fight. That's one fight. 2023, he fought Errol Spence Jr. 2024, he fought Ismail Madachek. And 2025, he fought Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Damn. That's once a year, not even twice
Once
a year.
a
At least
year.
Canelo would give us twice a year.
Once. Just once. So, what is, as he's getting older, do I think that his activity is going to get more?
No, definitely not. I mean,
Okay,
that
then. So,
no,
what are we expecting here? I'm just doing my investigation. I'm doing
for
my
sure, for sure.
investigation, and I'm looking and I'm saying, when am I expected to see Terrence Crawford back in the ring, and what would be, his next move here and there? So we all know it's not David the Monster Benavidez because he's tied up with Yarde. So he would have to go through there. So does he wait for him? Is he going to stay busy? What's going on here? Where's his obligation to the what? So all this spells, and I'm sitting back and I'm looking at it and I'm going, Diablo, the 168 division of otra vez.
Yeah.
You know,
Like I mentioned to you, I definitely think that the IBF would be will order the mandatory, which is Iglesias in the
okay.
next couple months. Hopefully, I think
Yep.
he'll not fight him because he has nothing to gain from Iglesias. Let's be
Nothing.
realistic, nothing to gain from Iglesias. So I think that belt would definitely be vacated, and then Iglesias. Wait, or is Iglesias the interim? Because he just
Um,
fought. Because Iglesias just fought Shishkin. He beat Shishkin. He knocked him out. So
right.
if I'm not mistaken, Iglesias is next up for that title, which I think he'll get elevated. So that's one belt less. Now Mauricio just put Canelo Alvarez as the number one contender for the WBC. Now, what do you? Let me ask you about that. Now, I see a
Yeah, but
lot of
and
people
Billy got the
criticizing.
interim.
Exactly, but you always have your number one contender. Now, Hamza Shiraz is in the top of the WBC too because if you remember, Hamza Shiraz fought Edgar Berlanga for a title eliminator. Now Hamza Shiraz is up there too, right? So
Right.
Hamza
Okay,
Shiraz,
but they put Saul number 1 and they put Hamza number 2 for
there
the
you go,
WBC.
there you go, there you
And
go. Now,
yep, go
now,
ahead.
now in the WBO, who's on top in the WBO?
It's vacant number 1 and then Hamza Shariz number 2 and then David Picasso. I mean Diego
Picasso,
Diego Pacheco, I'm sorry.
Pacheco.
Diego
What the
Pacheco, I'm sorry.
man?
Yes.
I thought Pacheco was number one. Is he number one in the WBA then?
No.
Who's the
Um
WBA number one and two?
um um what's his name?
Oh,
Becker
That Beck
that
the
guy,
bully,
yes.
Beck the bully. Yeah, man. Oh shit, I forgot about him. Wait,
Yeah.
wait. And then the regular champion in the WBA is Armando Resendiz.
Armando Resendiz is the interim.
Yeah, the interim, which is the
Right,
regular, because Terrence Bud Crawford got the
right,
super. So
right,
man, you see, bro, you have Beck the Bully, you have Armando, you have
right.
Diego Pacheco, you have Hamza
And Billy
Shiraz
and
and
Billy
Billy Lester, and then
Lester.
you have my boy Mungia in the mix.
Yeah.
Man, bro, yeah, man. I mean, you have Iglesias, man, bro. Look, man, this is what the problem is with 168 undisputed that's been held up since 2020, my brother. The
Yep.
last 5 years, these young, hot contenders, prospects have been frozen out of these championships. They've been waiting in line. They've been collecting ring rust. A lot of them have been keeping active, but they're hungry. They want the
Yeah.
territory. They're like the young lions, just
Yeah.
waiting for their new
Jose
territory.
Resendiz.
Jose
People like
Resendiz
that.
just had that spectacular win versus Caleb Plant.
Plant. Come
Yeah,
on, man.
you see, my brother, and then respectfully, this is the problem I have with Boo Boo. Where has Boo Boo been? Why is Boo Boo trying to cut the line? Boo Boo
He
should be
but
fighting
he
one of.
is cutting the line because they're giving him the fight, ain't they?
They ain't giving him the like. He's petitioning for it. He's going on
Oh,
social media. He's asking for him to fight Terrence Crawford. Where the fuck in your right mind makes you think you could be out the ring for 2 years, got knocked out your last fight, and then ask for a title shot? Come on, my brother. You should be fighting a motherfucking Bruno Saraz and Pro Box.
yes.
Stay
Yes, that
active.
would be a good
Stay
fight.
active.
That would be
Bruno
a good fight.
Saraz. Fight him. Bruno
Fight
Saraz is
him.
top.
Fight
Bruno
him.
Bruno Saraz is top 10 in the ring for 168. Fight him.
Yep.
Fight that motherfucker. Stay
Yeah.
active. You ain't gonna come and cut the line. Come on, man.
I don't know. I don't know.
Come on,
He
dog.
hasn't been active. He hasn't fought anybody, and I don't think he's deserving. But I heard he is cutting the line, bro.
Well, look,
I didn't
the
mean to
only
slip
way.
there, but I heard, yo, he trying to cut the line, bro. Yo, you there? You go,
Yeah.
brother. Done broke his phone.
No, 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 no.
What's he say here? Let me catch up with you guys.
I'm back. I'm back. Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, I got you. Bro, Crawford don't have to fight Benavidez. Well, look,
Well, look.
look,
If Crawford is looking
it's not
for
about he
a.
has to fight him. It's that Turkey. And you know that Turkey right now is putting these fights together, my man, and money talks. So since the you see the boxing world criticized Saul Canelo Alvarez for not fighting David the Monster Benavidez, which is considered the best fighting the best. That's what we're asking for. That's been this new wave of the boxing fans saying we want to see the best fighting the best. So as soon as Canelo Alvarez was dethroned, Terrence Crawford picked up all his beef. Now, when we said that Saul wasn't the type of champion that would rise up to the occasion, now we got a guy that beat him. Now, this guy must rise up to the occasion because apparently he beat Saul, whoever that
He
guy was going to
inherits.
be.
He inherits the beef, bro. It's just
Yes.
simply
So
as that.
now
He
that guy
inherits the beef.
became right. He became Terrence Crawford, and now we can't show favoritism. Now, let me ask you guys in the chat. If David the Monster Benavidez announces he can make 168 and he agrees to the fight with Turkey Al-Sheet, they send Terrence Crawford the contract and he denies it. Is that a duck? Yes or no?
It depends
It's
because no, no, hold on, hold on,
yes
hold on, hold on.
or no. Is it a duck?
If he says,
Because
you know what, I'm done. I'm done with boxing. I retire. Then he has like a what is that called? Like an alimony. He has like a way out. Like I'm done, bro. I'm about to
oh
retire.
yeah, if he
I'm
does
done.
that,
Okay, but look,
that's plan C. That's
but if
another
this fool
option.
says no, but if this fool says I'm not fighting him, I'm fighting Bruno. I'm fighting Boo Boo. Then that's a duck. Because why the fuck would you fight Boo Boo when you have David Benavidez, when you have Ostelis Iglesias, when you have Beck the Bully, you have these hot 168 pounders that are next up,
And
brother.
Billy,
Billy
right
and
there.
Billy, even though I think he lost, I think I'm Billy lost, bro. I think Lester beat him. Give me,
You
give
think
me,
so?
give
Yo,
me
and
your,
Billy's
give me your
output,
opinion. Give me your opinion. Round one.
and Billy's output, the level they were actually fighting was shocking. I couldn't believe those guys that size. I don't think people understand that the way he had made Lester Martinez try to like follow him with his output was crazy. I thought they were gonna gas out. I couldn't believe it. First of all, I want to get that out the way. Now the thing is that and Billy kept that volume. Lester Martinez got the he when he let his hands go, he was connecting. He would
The
miss
cleaner shots.
occasionally, yes,
He was
but
connecting the better shots, the cleaner
he
shots,
was
in my
more
opinion.
accurate. He was more accurate. But the thing
Exactly.
is that in Billy was just the volume was just he was just throwing, and when you kind of look at it like that, and Billy looks strong and he looks like he's punching hard, and then there were times that he did kind of like stun Lester, and he got him with some really clean, good shots too. But I think that Lester was doing smart, clean work. It was just that and Billy was drowning him with the volume. And I think that the judges were more captivated whether or not the punches were freaking landing from Billy, then it kind of took away from Lester's clean work. And Lester was getting like sharp shots in, like in between shots, like bang, like nice ones. But he just didn't drop in Billy or anything like that. And then the only thing I think it was in the fight was not awarded a knockdown. It was like when he pushed him down like that. So they were just it was a dog fight though. I gotta see it again. That's another fight I want to see again when I have some time.
Well,
That
what?
in the South.
No, for sure. I mean, the WBC president Mauricio Suleiman
Yep.
ordered the immediate rematch. Now
With
here's
who?
the
With Billy
Lester and Billy and
and
Lester, bro. Yeah, man. The WBC president Mauricio Suleiman ordered the immediate rematch of
because
those
there was no
two
winner.
boxers because there was no winners because it was a draw.
Right.
Now I'm a little worried because it depends who wins the purse bid. Most likely it'll be won by Eye of the Tiger. So most
Think so?
likely Lester is gonna have to go to Canada to fight and Billy.
Fight and Billy in
Be,
Canada. Yep.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Because look, I personally don't think that Pro Box is gonna put up that much money for Lester, and I
Mm,
say that
Lester.
respectfully. You know, so
Right.
I think Eye of the Tiger is gonna win that purse bid. Now Lester Martinez has to go with the mentality that cannot try to leave it in the hands of the judges, bro. And I say
Well,
that
lo,
respectfully.
lo
We all
bueno, lo
know
bueno, lo bueno, he's been in the ring. He's experienced what Billy brings to the table.
for
And
sure.
that's a good thing because now you know what to kind of expect. And I think that actually in Billy in the next fight, a fight when they put out that much volume, they always have a tendency to try to dial it back and be a bit more sharper. That kind of beats their downfall sometimes, you know. So, but
For sure.
Lester definitely showed that he belongs. He belongs,
That's
and
another good point that you just brought up. Lester showed that he belongs up
he
there.
belongs.
Now, now he has to work on his tank for sure because I did
Mhm.
definitely see him more gassed out than and Billy.
Yeah, but I don't
However,
think no one else, no other 68 pounder is going to have that kind of value. I'm trying to tell you, Lester's gas tank was, I think it was a little shocked, bro. Bro, I couldn't believe. I need to hear that fight with the commentating because I want to see what the commentating says because I watched my fight with no volume. So,
okay,
and I'm saying to myself, bro, for 168, this is a high output. Like I would like to see copy box stats on the amount of punches thrown round by round by both. And I'm telling you, and Billy made Lester output.
big in
He
his bag.
raised it. He
He
raised it. And then
for
Lester
sure,
fucking kept up with him. I
for
was
sure.
impressed. I was like, yo, Les, yo, you belong, bro. You belong,
Let
man.
let me get your opinion on the co-main event on the
Mm,
Fernando Vargas Jr. and the Wash,
yep.
the Wash. What's his first name? Let me see.
Callum Wash.
No, it's not Callum Wash. Is it
Well,
Callum Wash?
yeah, it's
Okay, Callum Wash. Callum Wash.
yeah.
Let me get your opinion on that fight.
I think that Vargas when I saw the fight, when I was watching the fight, I thought that he needed to let his hands go more. Then I realized why he wasn't letting his hands go. This kid Walsh was tagging him. He must have been hitting him with something that was making him a slight gun shy. Then there were some moments in the fight where that I felt that Vargas did have his success. He was coming forward. He was, but you can see that, Walsh was a bit more polished, and that's what it came down to. But you can see where he started falling apart as the fight started going out too. What that Walsh kid, he started falling apart a little too. It was a good fight for both fighters. It was a good fight. It was a good fight, good learning curve for both. But the Vargas kid got nothing to hold his head down. A win or a loss right now. He's 28 years old in his career. Don't allow this to determine you as a fighter. Take this as a learning curve. Go forward. You got a good name behind you. Opportunities could always arise in boxing. Callum Walsh can be preparing for a fight. God know that this doesn't happen, but he could get injured and then your number can be called. So you always got to stay ready, stay in the gym, stay ready, stay focused. And as for the other kid, congratulations on the victory. See where he goes from here and see if he fights guys.
I definitely did feel like there was a size difference. Like even just seeing them both in the ring,
Yeah,
Callum Walsh just looked longer,
yeah,
stronger. Like I felt that Fernando Vargas Jr. was smaller than him, and that's just maybe because Callum Walsh is one of the biggest 154 pounders. But
right.
I would definitely like to see if Fernando Vargas, I don't know, like because keep in mind, man, at 154, you got big dudes. You got Sebastian Pandora, the towering Infierno. Shout out to Gabriela Pandora putting up the straps up today at a Golden Boy card that starts at 5 in the zone. Um, and then you have Xander Zayas up there. That's pretty tall himself, right? Like,
Right.
how tall is Alexander Zayas? Like 5'11"?
5'10", 5'10 and a half, something like that. Yeah,
He's a
somewhere around
he's
there.
a
Yeah.
tall dude compared to Fernando Vargas. Because if I'm not mistaken, Fernando Vargas, I would put him at like a 5'8". You know,
Yeah.
so I mean,
Yeah.
he
Five
definitely
nine.
needs to see like the other competition there, and if it's in his best interest, try to see if he could make that 147. You know, because I definitely
Uh-huh.
felt like he was a small dude compared to Wash. Now that's just probably because there's two bigger. I mean, because of the size difference, like I mentioned, maybe Callum Wash is a bigger 154 pounder. But yeah, man, I mean, shout out to both fighters. It was a great fight.
Yeah. 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 The division 154 is definitely packed with a lot of guys, and Xander Zion is ranked. I mean, his height is 5'10". They have him listed as
5'10".
5'10". Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, you know, I think that the 154 is gonna be the next division where things could have a potential of moving around.
For
One
sure.
time
All the straps are free. They're flowing. You have
yeah, that's what I mean.
four
Yep.
different champions. Why you have Sebastian Pandora WBC. You have the African the African brother that Abakarum, or I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't want to butcher his name, but you have him at the full WBA. You have shout out to Sander Zayas de la Isla Boricua stand up
Yep.
WBO. And IBF is gonna be Mac fuck, how do you say his name? But help me, round one.
Which what
The 154 pounder IBF champion.
I oh, the IBF
Morataya?
champion, his name is
Morata
Bakraham
Bakraham.
Moratizla.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man,
Moratiz Morataza.
man, he's
Bakraham Morataz
Bakraham, yeah.
Morataria.
See, so like you have all these straps that are free flowing. So you have contenders that are gonna be fighting, unifying, hopefully, and that's a
Yep.
cool division right there.
Yep.
That's a dope division right there.
Yeah, and
Now,
and then
now
and then you got fighters like you got the interim champion for the WBC. You got Virgil Ortiz, a very strong
Virgil
fighter. You
Ortiz.
got the new entrance of Jaron Boots Ennis, which he is the number one for the
Oh
WBC,
damn.
and he is the number one for the WBA. Jaron Boots Ennis. He's also the number two for the WBO for Xander Zions, and Josh Kelly is the number one for the WBO. You see, for the IBF, for Bakram's thing, there is no number one or number two ranked. Josh Kelly's number
Damn, they
three,
ducking
and
that dude. They
and
ducking him.
Callum Walsh is number four there for the IBF Bakram. Yeah. So,
That's
but
crazy.
yeah, the WBA's got a bunch of killers, Jesus, Ramos,
I think
there's
he's
a lot.
moving up. I think he's moving up because he's going to be challenging Shane Mosley Jr. for an
Right.
interim at for an interim
What's
WBC
that belt
title.
for? Explain that to me, please. What was he
So
fighting him for? For
So
what?
Jesus El Mono Ramos is
Right.
gonna go up against Shane Mosley Jr. If I'm not mistaken, don't quote me, but I want to say they're gonna be fighting for the interim WBC strap at 160 pounds. So the winner of that
At
fight could be
160,
at
not
160
154.
pounds. No, 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 no. This,
Gotcha.
yeah, at 160 pounds, they're gonna be
Gotcha.
fighting for an interim strap and the Keith Thurman versus Sebastian Fontoura undercard. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's the co-main event. So you got Jesus El Mono Ramos. He's a big dude. If you look
Yep.
at his frame, he's just big. So I don't
Yeah.
know if he was struggling to make 154 pounds, but
Okay.
you definitely have him against Shane Mosley Jr. That's a very good fighter, but inactive.
Right. What
Him.
had me confused was what had me confused, and the reason why I didn't say anything because I was saying to myself, isn't Virgil Ortiz the WBC interim belt holder at 154? So how is Jesus El Mono Ramos fighting for the WBC title
Yeah,
against
for sure.
him? It had me messed up. So that's why I stopped you and said, please explain that to me. Now I
For
see it's
sure.
at 160.
That's at 160. We need some new
Yeah, it's
blood at
not for
160, man.
yeah,
We
so
need
they're
some new blood.
going
I don't know
okay.
what's going on with these champions. You got Janabek, shout out to him. He's fighting in the other part of the world. He's staying active. He's kind of frozen out right now just because he's with Top Rank. But they headlined him a couple months back over there in his part of the in that part of the world.
Right.
So you got him with the WBO and the IBF. He's a unified champion, unknown, not making big money just because of his name, of the part of the world that he fights in, of him not speaking good English. You feel me? So that's that. Now you have what's his name? Carlos Adames, el Caballo Bronco, that just defended his strap against Hamza Shiraz at 160, and he had a little misunderstanding with Turkey Al Now he's trying to play hard to get because they wanted him to unify with uh, um, uh, 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 the champion that I just mentioned right now. Um,
Mhm.
at 160 pounds, and he turned down that offer allegedly. Allegedly. So, and then you have Elisandi Lara that's up there in age, but I think that the WBC is just trying to hold that strap because his last title defense was against Danny Garcia. So he's not staying too active. He's keeping that belt tied up. Now what we definitely need to see is we need to see Carlos Adames unify with Elisandi Lara, and then the winner of that fight could unify with the WBO and the IBF strap Janabek.
Mm, mm.
Yes,
All
yes,
right. I just want to
yes,
read up some of the messages in the chat. Hugo, tú puedes leer inglés bien.
yes, sir.
Léamelo chat aquí, starting from right underneath from Joseph, right underneath Joseph, it says this one right here. From right there. Start from there down.
Okay. Wait, I'm on the internet app, so you have to pull them up for me. But this one says the only one that has Doug Benavidez is Canelo. Benavidez is way bigger than Crawford, and I would still favor Crawford. Alrighty,
Okay.
and respectfully, if you
Okay.
still okay, go ahead, go ahead, go
Okay,
ahead.
the problem with that is that's what we were talking about on this show right here. Are we showing double standards and the favoritism? If we hold Saul Canelo Alvarez at that standard and we called him a duck for avoiding David the Monster Benavidez at that size, then Terrence Crawford just beat him.
So
So if
why
Terrence
doesn't he
Crawford,
beat the
right,
boogeyman that no one wanted to fight at
right.
168? Come
So
on,
he
man.
beat Terrence Crawford. So now all of a sudden, David the Monster Benavidez is too big for Terrence Crawford. Are we now babying Terrence Crawford? We didn't show Saul Canelo Alvarez that love. We called him a
For
duck.
sure.
So,
Yes.
okay, here's the
Hey,
next one.
all right, then the next one says Shiraz and Canelo should fight.
Next.
The next one says Pacheco versus Shiraz gotta happen. I like
That's a
that
good one.
fight. I
I
like
like
that
that
fight
fight.
from what I have understanding. Diego Pacheco is gonna get a homecoming fight. He will be fighting here in the city of Los Angeles early December. So
Mm.
that's gonna be with I don't want to say tune up because I don't know the name of it yet, but I definitely think he'll close out the year. Remember that Diego Pacheco will be fighting for the third time this year. They're keeping him active, but they're strategically picking his fights, moving him up in the rankings, and making sure that he stays active. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Read the next message
Okay,
from
the
Team.
next one says it's a duck if you choose to fight somebody else at 168. If he moves down to 160, it's 6 times division champ. That's
Yeah,
very true.
that's
That's
very
very
true.
true.
That's very
That's
true.
true. Burger Vibes is stubborn.
When did
When
David
did
say this?
David say this?
Yeah. David's father did on Mill City.
Yeah, let's get active, chat. Shout out to Heaven Sent. I got my fighter John Orobio. He would knock out Keyshawn Davis. You hear me?
Yo, what's this right
Orobio.
here? Who said I should stop ducking him? What? Yo, stop
Yo,
ducking me round one. Tone deaf. Who's what am I ducking you for? When did you ever text? What? All right, let's go. Uh who's this? What's going
Burger
on?
Vides don't have the advantage at 168. Imagine a man knocking out your older sibling and then beats up your idol. Sick. David Bergavides doesn't want that payback. Well. Funny,
Hmm.
funny fact that Mr. Saul Canelo Alvarez got two group of brothers. He got the Cotto brothers, respectfully, and he has the Smith brothers, respectfully.
This guy's trolling. This guy's straight trolling.
David
David
is
is too
too
small
small
to
for
for
Crawford.
Crawford. He's trolling. He's just straight trolling. I don't know what the hell
Congratulations on being able to read. You go, ha 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 ha.
that.
So, round one. Back to the. So let's switch topics a little bit, man. Can can we give a shout out to Chispa Medina? Can we give him a
Mm.
shout out round one? Do you have the horn? Do you have something to give Chispa Medina a shout out for going to Japan, going to the Lion's Den, knocking out his opponent respectfully, bringing back that strap home? Now let me talk to you about this a bit. Round one, I was wanting to stay up, but it was already like 2, 3 in the morning, and I just couldn't handle it no more, and I had
Yeah.
a knockout. So talk to me. How did you watch the Chispa Medina fight?
I didn't get to see it. I had only saw some highlights. I gotta watch
Okay.
the entire fight, man.
Okay, so then that's good. I just wanted to shout out my Mexican brethren, Chispa
Yep.
Medina, bringing back that strap. For sure, for sure, they'll call him back to Japan. You know, these
Yep.
Mexican fighters get paid in pesos. So,
When he
so
stopped them, what I liked about it, right, is he didn't he drop him earlier in the
he
fight?
dropped them.
He
I think he
dropped him.
dropped
I
them in the
remember
first
that.
round.
Yeah, it was like the first, second round, something like that. I
Yeah,
remember that. He drops him early, like hurt him. And I knew right then and there that he had the power in the Japan, but I didn't count the Japan dude out yet because I seen him fight before. But when he got him in that corner and he started boom, 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 and you saw his head rocking like that, I said, "Oh, it's over,
that's
ref,
it.
save him, save him." You know,
For sure, for
yo,
sure.
he did his damn thing, man. Got a belt, brought it back. Congratulations, Chipa.
Yeah.
Where he goes from here. Maybe he can get himself in the mix now with some of the other big names down there. Bam Bam Rodriguez and all those other guys. They're all coming up the ladders, and that those lightweight divisions are heating up. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. But
Um,
I want to see
um,
the full.
let, let me ask you a question, man. You know something I definitely do not like round one,
What?
and I'm gonna
What's up?
say this respectfully, is I don't
Mhm.
like the bashing, the shit talking that they're giving my man Inuya Inoue. They're making fun of dude because he's fighting on Facebook. If he fights on Facebook, you guys are mad. If they don't stream his fights, you guys are mad. No
Mad.
one's ever happy with Inuya Inoue. It's
No
not
one.
his fault that Top Rank doesn't have a platform to stream on right now, my brothers. So
That's
let's be
right.
happy with what they give us, man. I don't like that they're making fun of, oh, this guy's fighting on Facebook. Do you guys want to see the fucking fight or not?
Or
Like, what
not.
does it matter, man? They're
Right.
giving it
Right.
to us for us to stream. If they
Right.
wouldn't stream this fight, you guys would be talking shit too. What do you guys want, brothers?
Right. 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 Yo, can you hear? Can you hear the like my sound effects? Can you hear these claps right here, right now?
Yeah, yeah,
You can hear that? Can you hear this?
yep,
Can you hear that?
yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, I just wanted to make sure
Do
because
you have the record scratcher?
nah, I want to get that. I'm gonna get that.
Yeah,
That's gonna be the
yeah.
next thing I'm gonna
Get
get.
the
I'm gonna
record
get that.
scratch.
Yeah,
Get
yeah,
the
yeah,
record
yeah.
scratch, and then get
Yo,
the shots fired.
yeah, I gotta get those things. I gotta get a couple
Yeah,
of them. But
yeah.
listen, Naoya in a way, right? Um, anything to try to discredit him. And quickly, you got to understand that there are these top boxing platforms that are just, in cahoots with taking shots at all the other champions from whatever country they're at. They only support their guys. So they're like well connected. So what they do is they quickly set off this little joke. Oh, he's fighting on Facebook. Like that matters. Like you said, all that matters is that we're watching the damn fight. And you mean to tell me he put it on Facebook? By the time I turned on that fight at freaking 5 something in the morning, the damn the thing had like 60,000 viewers already, right? So it did pretty freaking damn good. And the ability that we at least got to watch the man fight.
Did
And
you watch the fight?
yeah,
Respectfully. All
yeah,
right.
I
So
live
cool,
streamed
cool,
it.
cool, 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 cool,
I
cool,
li-
cool. You could answer my question then. So what
yep.
happened? How was the fight? What was the What was the ring generalship looking like? Who was landing the cleaner jabs? Who was landing combinations? Talk to me about the fight.
Well, from the moment that the bell rang, Naoya Inoue, he took a more strategic approach. He was very mindful of the fact that MJ was a brilliant hooker, right or lefty. He knew that. Naoya Inoue, for the first time, I saw him actually execute like a game plan. He's usually the type of fighter that just reacts, and like he lets nature take its course. You can see his game planning, his his preparation, and you could see that he stood on the outside. His jab was brilliant. MJ was frustrated. He couldn't get around Naoya Inoue's jab. At times, MJ was trying to force the action, and Naoya Inoue met him at the front door with a good four-piece combination, and he kept him at bay at the end of his punches. So Naoya Inoue, he stood the course. He stood very focused, and there was very few times where he let MJ bum rush him, which MJ did in fact, but also he Naoya Inoue made him pay for it. Naoya Inoue's first step in his jab is always electrifying. He really showed his ring generalship and that he can control the fight. He completely, and I mean completely, shut down MJ in every aspect of the fight. He took away his jab, he took away what he was good at, and he left MJ frustrated in the middle of the ring. At times, MJ was just trying to improvise. He couldn't find any angles. Naoya Inoue, wherever he would move, he would shift with him, and he stood with him. But the one good thing that I saw, Naoya Inoue did not go for the knockout. He did not try to go for the knockout. If it
Did
occurred,
he
it
have him?
occurred.
Did he have him hurt? Did he
Uh,
drop him?
no, there were a few
Okay.
times in the fight he definitely had MJ, like in like you could see it in his face, like, whoa, that was a big shot. But Naoya in a way stood the course. If his father told him, I don't care if you can knock this guy out. That's not what I want to see. What I want to see is that you can execute a game plan for me, son. We devised this game plan like this. Show me you can stay the course. At the end of the fight, Naoya Inoue congratulated his team and his father, and he showed that he can execute a game plan, which means that it wasn't always like that. They trained Naoya Inoue, and on fight night, you didn't have to control him. All you had to do was unleash him, and Naoya Inoue was going to be himself. But for the first time in a long time, I bet Naoya Inoue had to follow the game plan, and he had to put his ego to the side, thinking, "No, I could have a 12 fight knockout streak. I'm going to lose my knockout streak if I don't knock this guy out." He would, shouts out to Naoya Inoue for not allowing his ego to get the best of him and saying, "Forget you guys, I'm going to try to knock this guy out." No, he showed he's a true champion. He's a team player. He can follow instructions and he can execute a game plan. That is a warrior right there with a great head on his shoulder and that can pull it off. I can't say enough about that victory. Mr. Miyagi, Mr. Miyagi showing the love with the super chat. Salute, Edwin. Did you see Naoya Inoue's report? What? Let me take this off. 15 million what? Guaranteed, and 4 million from pay-per-view viewing numbers in the UK. Wow. Wow. He did that kind of numbers? What? And they're talking about him streaming on Facebook. Look at these kind of numbers, bro. His purse, $15 million. What? Man, listen, this dude, there's no bantamweight fighter that has ever done some stuff like this kid, Naoya Inoue. The kind of numbers that he's putting up for these younger weight divisions, the lighter weight divisions, I have never seen a bantamweight fighter put up these kind of numbers. This is like president. Like, remember, guys, there was a report issued. Let me see if I can bring this up for you guys. Hold on. Let me show you guys something. These were the top paid boxing athletes, I believe, in 2024. Right? Here you go, right here. Look, highest paid boxers in 2024. In 2024, Tyson Fury made $147 million. Usyk made $122 million. Saul made $73 million at that time. That's not counting 2025, right? Look at Joshua made 60. Jake Paul made 48. Naoya the Monster Inoue made $42 million, bro. And they trying to clown him for fighting where? On Facebook. What do you mean? Tell me another fighter that's making that kind of money. And when they try to discredit him because they don't know nothing about him on that side of the world. What do they know about how that shit is selling over there in Japan? What do they know about that? And then they're
Round
just
one.
saying,
Round one.
"Oh, Facebook here." Shut, man. Dudes is
Round one.
whack. What up?
Okay, papi. So that's it. Okay, so Naoya Inoue, this is his fifth undisputed title defense.
Fifth.
Okay, he's gonna have his sixth one versus Picasso.
Alan David
Okay,
Picasso.
so respectfully, he'll
I
get
don't like
through
it.
that one. Okay, Junto Nakatani
Best
just
fight.
vacated his belt. Talk to
No,
me about Naoya Inoue calling Junto Nakatani to the ring after his fight. Let's talk about what's next for Naoya Inoue. Because respectfully, we're sick and tired of him getting his title defenses. He ran through the whole division. He could run through them again. He's not going to get any bigger, respectfully, in the people's
Mhm.
eyes. Give me the next move for Naoya Inoue to boost him to the next level worldwide.
Well, respectfully, so the next fight um kind of will throw things out of whack, meaning best case scenario moving up 126, but I want the Junto fight at 122. So it wouldn't make sense to go to 126 and then come back down. So you would need to wait for Junto. In order to wait for Junto, that's where David Allen Picasso comes into the equation. You need him to keep you in the division. You beat him, fight Junto, move up to 126 in a good world. That's how it would go. The reason why Junto got up in the beginning and he started walking out, when Naoya Inoue saw him walking out, he grabbed the microphone and said, "Yo, Junto, me and you, bro, 2026," because he already knew he was, because the reason why Junto got up was because Naoya said, "I got an obligation and responsibility in December to fight in Riyadh season Alan David Picasso." So because Junto knew that he's not going to be the next fight for him because he already vacated his belt moving up to the division, he was hoping he would take that fight now. So when Junto heard him say, "My next fight is David Allen Picasso," well, that's not me. He got up and he started leaving. Then Naoya grabbed the mic and said, "Hold up. Don't don't be too fast because I'm letting you know I am going to fight you." Right? But like you said, the fans are tired, right? But legacy wise, he is defending those belts a record breaking amount of time. So for his career, it makes sense to keep cleaning these guys out. But competition wise, the better fight. What is the better fight for him? Obviously, for me, if you ask me, start making a run for that 126. Naoya Inoue, you're not getting any younger. Okay. The years, you're already 32 years old. You want to retire at 35. There's not one guy at 126 that has two belts or three belts. And if you have any uh, chance of catching Terrence Crawford, he's gonna have to go get him one by one.
See, that's a very good point. That's a beautiful point you just made here. Now, let's say in a perfect world, Mister Inoya Inoue jumps up to 126. Most likely, he could definitely get a title shot if
Yes,
he beats everyone in that division and he cleans it out one by one. He beats Nick Baugh. He beats Rafael Espinosa. He beats Angelo Leo. And who's the last one? Shushu.
yes.
If he beats them one by one, do you think he
No, no,
trump?
no. Sorry, so Shushu's not a champion at 126 because Stephen Kubo Fulton has the belt, but he's fighting O'Shaughnessy Foster, and then Bruce Carrington probably would get elevated at that time because he has the interim or something like
Now,
that.
now
So
you're not in
Blue
a way
Blood
is undisputed twice or once?
twice,
Twice
twice,
at 118 and at 122.
right?
So at 122, he fought Stephen Coolboy Felton for two straps, and then
Yes,
the Filipino had two straps, right?
yes, Marlon
Okay,
Tapales, yes,
Tapales.
and the way he can get the fight guaranteed at 126, if you're thinking this, is the WBO makes will allow him to be the mandatory to Espinosa's belt.
That's an in-house fight. Espinoza is with Top Rank. So is June. I mean, so is Inoya Inoue. However, bro, you're dealing with a tall, long, fast, hard hitting puncher, Rafael Espinoza, bro. This is a new challenge. People want something new. You're making history by defending your titles, but I think your better history will be by challenging for the 126 division
Mm-hmm.
champions. If he
Mm-hmm.
would run out and run on and beat up all these champions at 126 and become undisputed, you're talking about trumping Terrence Bud Crawford's record. I say that respectfully.
Yeah. Now. Okay, hold on here. What? And then what am I? What is he talking about? No, that's wrong. And then it says Fulton at 130. Okay, first of all, I don't know what I was wrong about, right? Because that belt that Stephen Kubo Fulton for the WBC, that's messy. that belt he has. That's a messy situation because in actuality, Stephen Kubo Fulton has the belt that Ray Vargas is considered the champion in recess, and then Bruce Carrington is the interim champion. There's three champions to the same exact belt in the WBC that Stephen Kubo Fulton has. Ryan Vargas is still the champion in recess. So now Stephen Kubo Fulton is moving up to fight O'Shaughnessy Foster at 130 for the WBC World Champion, right? Okay. So if Naoya Inoue was to enter 126, I'm going to tell you right now, Stephen Kubo Fulton is not fighting that man at 126. That's why he's leaving to fight O'Shaughnessy Foster. The person that's going to be there to pick up the pieces and that's going to be foolish enough to fight Naoya Inoue is going to be Bruce Carrington. He's going to take the ass whooping that Ryan Vargas should be taking. Ray Vargas. I'm saying I keep calling him Ryan. Ray Vargas should take. Respectfully, because you know why? Because he's the original champion at 126.
What happened to that dude?
He fell off, bro. After that fight, he didn't look good in his last fight, and then he's just been inactive.
Who did he fight the last fight? Nick Ball?
No, he went and lost. He went up and tried to fight, right? No. What? How did it go? I can't remember. What did Ray Vargas
do? The last
do?
fight that I seen him involved in was against Nick Ball. They got the draw. If I'm not mistaken,
he lost that fight.
Who lost that fight?
Yeah, he lost against Nick Ball. He lost. But anyway, go ahead. Continue.
I remember seeing it. It's just been a while, so I don't.
Yeah,
really
it's been so long. I forget what.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
right, but that's a messy situation at 126 with all that the three people with one belt. Like it's just messy. So I see why Stephen Kubo Fulton.
Damn,
and let me tell you something right now.
That was his
last fight, probably, right?
That was his last fight, Nick Ball. It happened March 8th, 2024, and it was a draw. Before that, he went up to challenge for the 130 strap against O'Shaughnessy
and lost.
And he lost that one. Yeah, he lost that one.
Yeah, against O'Shaughnessy Foster, right? And then he became and he ain't been doing nothing since. What has he done since? Nothing. So so that's why O'Shaughnessy Foster right now is fighting against Stephen Kubo Fulton, and I like Stephen Kubo Fulton in that fight. I don't know why. Something tells me I like.
You think
Stephen
he can
Kubo
move up?
Fulton in that fight.
You think he can move up?
No, that fight is already a done deal. That's a done deal. Their fight card is already done deal.
No. I know it's a done deal. But you have him beating Shock?
Yes.
Damn. So now, okay, Papi. In a perfect world for him, he moves up. He beats O'Shaughnessy Foster. He gets elevated. He vacates 126. Now, my next question to you, Papi. He loses. He comes back down. He waits for Naoya Inoue at 126, and he gives him a title shot. How do you think that fight goes, brother? And he tells him, Naoya Inoue, I'm going to give you a shot, but I ain't going to Japan. You bring your ass over here. Talk to me about that fight in the United States of America.
Listen, Naoya Inoue is not the type of fighter that it's the place that makes him a better fighter. You could fight on the moon. He's still going to fuck up Stephen Kubo Fulton. It doesn't matter. That's not going to save him. He could fight Naoya Inoue would go to Stephen Kubo in Philly. He'd fight him in Philly. And it's not going to matter. It's not gonna
movie, bro.
It's not gonna matter.
A movie.
Yeah, that's not gonna matter. Naoya Inoue is just a better fighter, period. Than Steven. He's just better. That's all.
You got him beating him at 126 also?
I got him knocking him out at 126 again.
God damn.
Yeah, because Stephen Kubo Fulton, even at 126, didn't show me that he's become a better puncher, but he's more efficient. And he's a better fighter. I think that he's letting his hands go once he got in the ring with a fighter like Naoya Inoue. If you're not that in front of him, he's not intimidated by any other fighters. He got dropped in one of his fights on the comeback, and he still
Yeah,
managed to
I
win
think he
that
lost
fight.
that fight. I thought he
Nah,
had
he
lost
won
that
that
fight.
fight. He came back respectfully. I saw that fight like 2, 3 times, bro. And I kept
The
saying
one
to
where he
myself,
got
I thought
dropped, the one where he was in the prelim.
where he got dropped. Yeah, he
Yeah,
won. He
you think
won,
he
bro.
won?
Yo, listen, just watch it. Like, okay, yeah, there was some good exchanges by the boy and my man had good pressure on Stephen Kubo Fulton. But and then all of a sudden, you could see where he starts to crack in the fight, and Steven starts to get his confidence, starts to take over. And Steven really closed the fight good. I remember the 12th, 11th, 10th round, he fought real good. He fought real good. But the kid had his moments. That kid that fought Stephen Kubo for that, his name is eluding me right now, but he fought a great fight against Scooter. But that's what I mean about Scooter. Scooter's never been a big puncher. I don't got him knocking out O'Shaughnessy Foster. No, no. I think he, well, somebody did mention this that O'Shaughnessy Foster kind of fights to the level of his competition. So if Steven Scooter comes out raw, it's going to make him fight that much better. And I can agree to that, right? I can agree to that. But I saw O'Shaughnessy Foster put it in cruise control against Conceiao. I saw him. He didn't really have like that.
I got it.
When
I remember when he went life and death versus Rocky Hernandez in
that was,
Cancun.
yeah, you talk about that fight. That
Yeah,
that that was a
that's a good
good
one. That's a
moment
good
for
one. That is
O'Shaughnessy.
a good fight right there.
That's a good
That is a
moment
good
for
fight.
him. That's a good moment for him. Can he bring that dog back? Is that dog still
Damn.
there? Is it still there?
Hopefully, man, hopefully, because he's giving Schoolboy Steph Fulton a shot at his title. He's probably making
Yeah.
good money, but I was waiting to see him unify at 130. I was
Yeah.
waiting to see because he had lost his belt, he won it back,
Because of
and
that.
now he's
I think he would have been unified if it wasn't for that hiccup with Conceiao, the first
okay.
robbery. They robbed
Yeah,
O'Shaughnessy in that fight. He should have never had a rematch with him. But anyway, and then the rematch was a lot closer. I thought O'Shaughnessy would stop him or something, and he didn't fight
yeah.
with that kind of urgency that showed me. And I was a little disappointed in the second fight. The first fight I just thought he wiped him down. He just got robbed. But anyway, when I saw Scooter and him standing side by side, that I saw Scooter wasn't as small as I thought he was. And
For real. That's a great point. I definitely didn't think Scooter was that small, man.
yeah,
I thought he was coming up from 122. He went up to 126, and then he's going up to
right.
130. So
30.
I
He was
thought
gonna
that
be
shock was
small,
gonna.
right?
Yes, yes, yes.
No, mira, ahí, están así. They're like that, bro. I was like, oh shit. And remember, Naoya Inoue was the same size as Scooter. Remember? And now Scooter's
Yeah,
up at 130. And he's up there at 130. So that's why I can't use that. Every man is not the same. I understand. But it kind of paints me a small picture that perhaps Naoya Inoue can fare fairly well at 126 at least, being that the fact that these men are going on after losing to Naoya in a way, going on and doing some pretty good things. TJ Doheny, had it not been for his back and how old he was kind of winning that fight against Nick Ball.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And then
yeah.
Sam Goodman
Sam
goes
Goodman surprised me. Sam
12,
Goodman
12
surprised
rounds
me.
with him. And
Yo,
Sam
yo,
Good,
yo, 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 yo. Good thing you brought that shit up. So those are two common opponents. There's probably more. But what's up with Nick Ball bringing up the 122 pounders to fight him?
because
Let's
he
talk about
wants a
that.
measuring stick. He wanted a measuring stick. Then he fought Sam Goodman because he said, you never got to fight Naoya anyway because you bashed your face against a wall twice and cut your eye because era cobarde. He didn't want to get in the ring with the Japanese dude, you know?
Stop it.
Oh, yes.
Stop
Yo,
it, dude.
10 days out from the fight. Who the fuck is your head coach letting you spar like that? Who's your head coach that they let you split your eye not once but twice? Don't tell me he didn't enter the witness protection program. Yes, he did. He didn't want that fight against Naoya anyway. He saw no wins. But guess what he did see? I think I could beat Nick Ball. And he went 12. And let me tell you, that fight was close. That fight was close. And that man, you couldn't pay him to get in the ring against the Japanese dude. I'm telling you right now, Naoya Inoue Not only is he gonna beat Nick Ball, he's stopping him.
Papi, I have to call you out on this, dog.
I'm
How the hell are you gonna be Naoya Inoue's biggest fan, papi? Pero atrás de ti ni tiene foto de él. No tiene nada de él ahí.
right here. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah.
That's Naoya Inoue right there. Stop it.
Y la
Got you.
bandana.
Got you. I got you. I got you.
Where's the bandana? Where's the bandana? Put the bandana
Whoa,
on.
wait.
Come on, dog. You were supposed to be having the bandana on today, puppy. What the hell?
Wait.
Come on, man. My boy, round one. Salute to round one. Everyone like the video and subscribe. You know, we need those views up. Yeah, man. Naoya Inoue is definitely cut from a different cloth. The unfortunate thing about Naoya Inoue is that he's not heavy in the American boxing scene. He's in the other side of the world.
Hold on.
He's in the other side of the world. So I mean, he doesn't get televised or talked about too much about over here, but he's definitely going down in the record boxing books for the one of the best, if not the best, Japanese boxers ever. So shout out to Naoya Inoue for putting up Japanese boxing heavy. You feel me? Shout out to him, man. Oh,
Whoa! How you want it? How you want it? How you want it? Huh? How you want it, baby? The time is coming, baby.
The Japanese monster is in the building, bro. The Japanese monster, man.
The monster.
Let me ask you a question.
Talk to me.
Did you take that bandana when you went to his fight or no?
No, I bought it afterwards.
Alrighty then. So look, in a perfect world, Naoya Inoue beats what's his name right here? Help me out with his name.
Who? David Allen Picasso?
That he beats David Allen Picasso in December. First of all, let's talk about that card. Talk to me about that card, puppy.
Huh?
Talk to me about that card. That card.
What about it? Who's gonna be on it?
The night of the samurai.
Junto Nakatani is gonna be the co-main event, right?
Yes, versus Sebastian Hernandez.
Right. So just those two fights right there, the co-main event and the main event, and then that's gonna build to their fight. Okay. And,
what about
let me tell you something. Junto didn't really look all that impressive to me his last fight. And let's remember there was some controversy in that fight. You know, there was a clash there and everything. So I think that it's just gonna build. Hopefully Junto gets past this guy, and then we'll see what happens. Junto and him are probably gonna sell out the Tokyo Arena in Japan. If that fight's gonna be on Riyadh season, that fight's gonna be in Riyadh season, the one with him with David Allen Picasso and Junto being on the co-main event. And then after that fight, they're probably gonna reopen that Tokyo Arena, 55,000 fans. You know, so that's pretty impressive.
So round one, how did the name Junto Nakatani, has he ever been undisputed? Or how did he get up there in the stratosphere along with Naoya
He's a 3-division world champion.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, he's a 3-division. He came up fast. Junto. He got titles really fairly quickly, and he moved up weights fast. And then you know, he came to America and he started training out here. And he kind of took off when he got knockout of the year, when he knocked out Andrew Maloney with that one punch knockout. The ironic thing, the history of this is this. There are a set of twins, identical twin boxers in the sport of boxing. There are a couple, Jamel Charlo, them being one of twins, right? So Andrew Maloney and Jason Maloney are a set of twins that come from Australia. Ironically enough, Junto Nakatoni scored and was awarded knockout of the year for knocking out one of the twins, and he was a Japanese fighter. Naoya the Monster Inoue ended up getting knockout of the year the following year by knocking out the other twin brother.
Oh, damn.
Two Japanese fighters both got knockout of the year for knocking both twin brothers. And the
Wow.
odds of both fighters being Japanese.
Who had the better knockout? Without being biased. Without being biased. Without being
Naoya
biased.
Inoue had the slickest. Junto was more violent.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Junto's knockout was straight violence. It looked like when he hit Andrew Maloney, it looked like his soul jumped out of his body and took off. Was like, bro, I'm out of
Damn.
here. But
That was like an over the hand right? Or something like that?
yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal,
Yeah.
bro. It looked like it took 3 years off his life right then and there. As soon
Damn.
as he hit him, it was brutal. But Naoya Inoue was so slick, crafty, and violent. It was just, it was, it was a thing of beauty. His punch. It was truly, truly
I
like Junto.
I
Like I
have to
said,
go back and
Junto's
watch
was
that
more
one.
violent. It looked violent in nature. The way he dropped, it looked like metal. You need medical attention right now. Put that man in a gurney. That was Junto's knockout. But Naoya's it was everything. It was crafty, slick, and violent at the same time. It was we'll watch it. The Maloney knockout. Oh, it was beautiful.
So who else is on that Night of the Samurais card that's to be looked out for? Do you talk to me about Kinshiro?
I well,
You don't know too much
Kishiro.
about Kinshiro?
Yeah. Kishiro's a good fighter. There's a lot of Japanese fighters I got my eyes on. That kid, what's his name? Uh, uh,
Tsunami?
no, no, you're saying his name, Kishiro. Say his full name, Kishiro. Not,
Tajari. Kinshiro Tajari. Then you have Junto Nakatani. You have Taiga I, Imagdan. And then you have the Tsunami Brothers. Oh,
yeah,
damn, the Tsunami Brothers are going to be together fighting in this card. Oh, so look, breaking news. Junto Nakatani vacates his WBC 118-pound strap. You know who's going to be fighting for that strap, right? It's going to be Naoya Inoue's brother.
yeah,
He's going to be fighting
yep.
for that strap.
Yep, he's going back for it. He's yeah, that's good. That's good that Naoya Inoue, Takuma Inoue, he
Yeah.
he he's gets more active and tries to become a world champion because it goes to show you that if it was really something that you can teach and a technique to punch harder, don't you think Naoya Inoue would have showed his little brother how to do it?
Sure.
It goes to show you that you got to be born with some of this shit. And you have to have a
Yeah.
real good understanding of how to move the fluid in your body and the snap. Not everybody gets the concept of being able to punch hard, and if it would ever would have been some trickery or something, they would have did it with his little brother. But how crazy is it that you go through life, right? You're both boxers, and your older brother is considered one of the heaviest punchers, knockout artists, and you're on a list of pillow fist punchers. Na- Takuma Inoue was on the list of 4 champions that were not power punchers. The 4 guys that were on the list was Takuma, Sam, was as Sonny Edwards, Stephen Kubo Fulton. Those were all champions that they were champions, but they didn't. They had like 3 knockouts, 4 knockouts on their record. They weren't punchers. So you're the brother of arguably one of the hardest punchers ever in the history in the welterweight division and in boxing, and your kid brother is on the spectrum of one of the softest punchers to be a champion.
For sure. For sure.
You
That's
know, and it
definitely,
must be
yeah.
tough to live in those shoes too. You know, growing up, like, damn, Naoya Inoue is your older brother. Like, what? Like, you know, why? Oh, here comes Takuma Inoue. Oh, you should be able to fight like your brother or hit like him, and it's not
So
always like that.
what you're telling me is that now Yoya Inoue's brother Takuma Inoue, he doesn't have pop.
No, not at all.
Okay. Oh
Nah,
man.
nah, he don't. Nope.
Oh.
He has a lot of wins, fights. I think he has 2 losses. He's been a champion multiple times already, twice I believe. He's been a champion. He lost his belt. Just before losing his belt, he knocked the other guy out with a body shot. So
Okay.
he got one, and then he went and lost. But still, nevertheless, he looks like if you were to look at Naoya Inoue and Takuma, yo, they kind of favor each other. He fights like Naoya Inoue. He just doesn't do the when and the where. He doesn't. He has Naoya Inoue style. He looks just like him throwing the punches. He just doesn't know when to do it like Naoya and when to apply the pressure, and he doesn't have the power to keep those guys off of him. He doesn't have the power to like his brother does. Not at all. But he does fight. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, he looks just like Naoya Inoue, bro. When he's fighting, you're like, oh shit, Naoya Inoue's fighting. And then you look at him, you're like, no, it's Takuma. He's just doesn't have that. But mira, es rápido, real fast. He's fast as fuck, bro. He puts his hands together good. He doesn't make the best decisions in the ring. He
Man,
gets himself in trouble.
I'm surprised that they're not putting him in the Night of the Samurai card. Like
Oh, I'm
like
surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised.
yeah.
Well, maybe that has to do with the father needing to focus on each son. And by doing that, he might not be able to focus a good training camp for both of them to prepare for both their fighters. So maybe he scheduled it so he could just work on Naoya
Work
Inoue,
on Naoya anyway.
being the
That makes
fact that
sense.
he got
That makes
dropped
sense.
twice and he
Oh damn.
needs some attention over here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know,
So
so
round one, I don't know if you're gonna know this question, but maybe you're familiarized with this whole topic. So in
mhm.
Japan, how is it structured? Like, is there only one major promoter, which is Lenova, or are they all in house, or are they all like external, or how is the promotional company set up over there? Like, is like
Well, Lemoma. Say that again. How say it again? The name
Lenova,
Lenova is the streaming platform, right?
okay,
Okay. Now they broadcast their stuff. Now, the Japanese way, there are multiple small time promoters.
oh, okay, okay, okay.
Ohashi is not the only, game in town, but
Yeah.
he's the one that got the connect with Bob Arum. He's the Bob Arum over there. So
Oh,
he's co-affiliated with Top Rank
yeah,
and like that. So top without Bob Arum and Top Rank, Naoya Inoue really doesn't become Naoya Inoue in that quick of a time. Bob
yeah,
Arum has all the connections, you know what I'm saying? And Ohashi has the fighter. So together they work together and they try to build all this together. Now, so as far as Japan, their rules and structures are much different than US. They have a different set of rules but when you sign up to fight out there, like Stephen Kubo Fulton did once upon a time, and then go out there and try to challenge the Japanese rules, the things are that the same rules don't apply in Japan as they do in Las Vegas or New York or California. That's what's messed up with boxing. I think that there needs to be a universal rule
what's
worldwide.
different? What's a big difference? What's a big difference that like
Okay,
you'll be surprised on?
okay, some countries don't acknowledge the standing 8 count. Some countries, the fight is over if you get knocked down 3 times in one round. Some countries, it's not. They'll let you get brutalized. The referee will stand you up and you'll just get smashed. Okay. And some countries, they allow you to put tape on skin. And New York, you can't do that. That's against the law. You can be criminally charged for that. Okay? If you were to take tape and put it on your skin and wrap tape all around your wrist, because where you want the tape is here. Between here and here is where you want the tape so that your hand does not bend. You don't want anything on the knuckles because you ever punch somebody with rings on your fingers? What happens? That smacks against your hand, you're going to end up hurting your hand. So never put anything hard on your knuckles. What you do is you put it here on the wrist so that it becomes like a bat. So when you drop your hand, it doesn't give leeway. With enough tape, you can make a cast. A cast. With gauze, it's gauze is cotton. If you put gauze first, it'll allow the bend. You see? And that's why you can't put tape on your hand. In some countries, they allow that. Japan allows that. You could put tape on skin. And now recently I'm on the impression, I always thought I was on the impression that Las Vegas, because of Mayweather, allowed tape on skin. I guess they went back to gauze now because they see the significance of allowing an athlete, a boxer in particular, putting an excessive amount of tape right here. You put it on both hands, bro. Bro, it's like having two sledgehammers. Your shit's not
Okay.
gonna bend, So, and then in some other rules countries, they when they're judging, they judge by punches landed. In other countries, they view it by forward aggression and by the effect of your punch. You can hit me with 20 jabs, but if I hit you once and you stagger, my punch was more effective than your 20 jabs. And then
Yeah,
other
or like in Europe, when someone
they
gets
count
knocked
the 20
down,
jabs.
they in Europe, the BBBC, the British Boxing Board of Control,
Right,
when they get in their jurisdiction, when someone gets knocked down, they're counting to 10 and the microphone in the whole arena. So there's no motherfucking cheating that the referee
right,
is giving you extra time. No, they're counting out loud in front of everyone. You get me?
right,
Because that's a big controversy too. For
right,
example, like when Ryan Garcia knocked down Devin Haney. Come on, bro. We all know that the referee gave him like 15 seconds to recover. You get me?
right,
And then in England, I mean in the British Boxing Board of Control, that can't happen because they're counting from outside the ring. So you
right,
get counted out. Or like when Jaime Munguia got knocked down in Tijuana, people were saying that the referee counted way too quick. So that's something that I do appreciate
right,
of the British Boxing Board of Control.
right, right. So like we were talking about, right? There's just a lot of different rules, a lot of things that are different in other states and stuff. And I'm not familiar with all of them because there's so many. But I really think that that's one of the biggest things that's wrong with boxing. And in order for us to at least start somewhere, we need to have the same rule structure so that all the refereeing are under the same, the way they view it. Because sometimes what they do in major world title fights, they don't want to give somebody the edge. So what do if they're fighting in America? No, we don't want no American judges. So they come in, they fly in some judge from Peru, one from France, and one from China. But all these guys have been viewing fights in their country a certain way.
But wait, wait,
And I
wait,
think
wait, 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 wait. So you don't like that? You don't like when it's in a when like for example, if the champion brings a contender over to challenge for the champions in his hometown, in his home country, you don't like that they bring neutral judging?
no, no, no. I like that they bring nuclear judging. I love it. I love because I don't want any judges from that city because that's fucking being biased, right? But when they bring in these judges from around the world, I don't think they judge the fights the same way. I think that they need
Okay.
to have a judging system implemented so that these guys, when they come from Peru, when they come from these other countries, they're seeing it the same way the other judges seeing it. And I think that that's where the hiccup is in boxing, that some of these judges are viewing it and they're taught in their own country to view a fight a certain way. It's not the same. And I think that that's where the miscommunication sometimes in boxing. You can't just get that out of that judge that's been judging fights for over 30 years and he was told to do it this way. He's it's by nature he's just gonna see it like that. And we gotta implement one system of judging, just one. How you doing, Mr. Miyagi? How you been? You
Very
there,
good,
Mr.
very good.
Miyagi?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Aha. All right. What's up? What's on your mind, Mr. Miyagi? How you doing?
Yeah, I've just got a question. Why do you
Yes.
know uh, why it's illegal to wrap your wrist with tape first? Because I would have thought the whole point of wrapping your hands up is so that you don't injure yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I get what you were saying earlier about if you put excessive tape on, but aren't you? Isn't in the rules you can only put a certain amount of tape and gauze on anyway? So the
Mm-hmm.
weight of the tape and that you can't put any more than is regulated. But if I put the tape on the skin first and it makes my wrist solid, then it's protecting my wrist from snapping in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
would have thought that would have been that's a better way of protecting the fighters, their bread and butter, which is their hands and their wrists.
Right, right. Well, okay. There's two ways of looking at that, right? Because on the other side of that coin is now it's giving you an advantage that you normally didn't have. If you don't have normal strong wrist or anything in life, and what it's doing is it's making your hand like this, like flat. So that can cause injury to the other fighter. Now imagine both of you, they say, yeah, yeah, go ahead, both of you can do it, rock'em sock'em robots, and you're scoring knockouts like that. Then you go to another country, the next title fight, and they say you can't put tape on your wrist. You got to put gauze. Then all of a sudden, you know how when they saw like Hamza Sharif's hand and he had like the black tape, and then they went through his fingers and he had a big puffy gauze. Then you'll see in other fights and other athletes, their hands are wrapped differently. They have it with like the tape starting from here, and you could see it. Um, and they got like that black cast tape shit. So it's all into not just damage your boxers, but it's also giving the fighter an advantage they wouldn't have. Like saying, like, if I did injure my hand in the fight, you wouldn't be throwing that right or that left. And I get what you're saying. Wouldn't it be best interest to protect that? But it could also cause damage, more damage to the other fighter because you wouldn't be punching that hard. So it's a give and take. So you're getting the benefit for your hand, but you're causing him brain damage. So
Hmm.
And
I just thought
actually in
I always
Japan,
went.
and actually in
mhm.
Japan, they recently had two fighters die on the same
Yes.
night on the same boxing
Well,
event.
wasn't it two separate occasions, or was it the same night? Because
It was the
one of the
same
fighter
night, the same event.
really okay, okay. I chalk that up to the competition is fierce. You got to understand that everybody in Japan now wants to be the next Naoya Inoue. The night that that other kid died on Naoya Inoue's undercard, he was actually fighting for the Naoya Inoue trophy in $100,000 bonus. That's what was at stake. When that young man fatally lost his life, I think it was 9 days later, he was pronounced dead. Um, this is just the level. None of them want to take a step back. You know their ways. No retreat, no surrender. It's just their mentality. They fight hard, and the competition is fierce. They want to be the next Naoya Inoue. They want to change their stars, and that's what you're seeing. These guys are literally, and I mean by definition, punching their brains out respectfully. And I think that that's what's happening. But could it be? Could it be something with this tape thing where these guys should not be punching that hard? It's just that extra not bend, that not give away, and just clubbing you with the shot. You know, your hands not giving back. There's no leeway. It's just straight bow all the time. Bow, bow. Just straight hammer. It's like a 2x4. Just smacking you. Bow, bow. There's no leeway. In a normal setting with gauze, at least you would get that little leeway. It wouldn't be as violent. So in some countries they allow this, some countries they don't. Some countries they allow a standing 8 count, some countries they don't. Some countries you can get knocked down 3 times in the fight is over. Some countries you can get knocked down 10 times in a round. They'll still keep getting you up. It just all depends. And what I advocate for is maybe we can see a day where one rule structure rules it all. Why can't we just have that? I mean, if the Dallas Cowboys are playing against the 49ers in some far off country, because sometimes they have a European game, the rules don't change because you go to Europe. They're the same NFL rules. Why can't we do that in boxing? Just because you left New York City and you went to Japan, the rules should not change. They should stay the same everywhere across the board. Why can't we just do something as simple as that? Why is it that everywhere you go with every country and every city, something's different?
You'd have to have a global oversight body, wouldn't you? Like with all the
Yeah,
commissions, the
yeah, I
same
guess
way
so.
in well, you would call it soccer, but in the same way that
Hmm.
football has
Okay,
the UEFA
right.
commission, and they
Is
obviously
that what they
oversee.
have?
Yeah, I think it's like UEFA, or there's one organization that basically dishes out fines and stuff like that to like, and it's global.
Okay. Wow. Right. Then we should have something like that, man. We should have something, some board that governs everything else that has no affiliate or no ties or no connection to anything else. Like meaning they don't owe the sanctioning bodies any favors. They're not their friends. They're not with the referees. Just like the referees and the judging. That's a whole different entity than the belts. The belts call their office and say, hey, we need 3 judges for this boxing match on this night. And then the week of the fight, the judges release the names. So that, remember back in the days like the 1950s, 60s, if they released who is the referee in the ring, the mobsters would get to the referee. That's why they stopped releasing the referee's name. And
But
they wouldn't
Edwin,
announce who the guy was for the championship fight the week of the fight. What's up?
Edwin,
Yo,
funny. Do you know what I was just about? Funny you should say that, because wasn't the Canelo and Crawford judges and the referee announced a week and a half before the fight?
yeah, they did. And then
That is the weirdest thing.
yeah, because they think nowadays, see, this is what happens, right? Okay. What we figured out once upon a time in the athlete world was pay the people, pay the athlete. If you pay him, you don't have to worry about him taking a bribe. See, back then they didn't pay them nothing and they were real greedy. They kept a lot of the money. So when the mobsters came around and made you an offer, sometimes it was more than you were getting paid. When they realized this problem, they started paying the athlete. They gave him $15 million for the fight. Why? Because if your mobster goes up to him, what are you going to give him? $15 million? And who do you got that's going to bet 15 million plus with you? So now you eliminate the 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 blackmail type thing, because what if the boxer did have a gambling debt? Well, he's getting $15 million. I'm pretty sure he can pay it off. He doesn't have to throw the fight. What are you going to pay him to throw the fight? That's why they started paying. One of the reasons why they started paying these athletes. Now they're announcing the refereeing because they really, you can't get to the ref. You know, if you're gonna get to the ref in today's era, there's not one mobsters. What they took with gambling was they legalized it. There's 100,000 websites. It's not just one person in town. Now the mob is like almost obsolete. They had to go start fucking investing in produce or something because you can't put pressure and make the whole town come to your bookie and just bet with your guy. You're not gonna. What are you doing? Blackmailing the referee so that everybody else gets paid? So that Las Vegas, everybody else gets paid but you. And you did all this hard work for what? To get to him? That's why that doesn't exist anymore. See, cheating on a low level like college basketball, yeah, that happens all the time. There's a referee in on it, a player shaving points. They don't make no money. They don't make no money. And out of all that rule they just passed where the college kids can do it, there's probably 7, 8 college players in the world that make money. The rest are still broke. That's why you can cheat at those lower levels. But when you get to the pros now, what are you gonna pay a pitcher to do what? Throw a game to shave a point off of foot for what? That shit don't exist anymore, man. You can have 1 or 2 guys cheating, but all that fucking like, oh, this is scripted or this is that's just those people that they lost a lot of money and they can't explain human behavior in the time. People do funny shit. That way, when you see real shit, you don't know what it looks like. But yeah, I don't believe that they'll get to any of these fighters, and not unless the motherfucker's broke. Unless you can find a guy that's getting paid peanuts, and this fight is mysteriously worth billions of dollars or hundreds of millions. I don't know where you're gonna find that, but then you can get to that guy. But other than that, you're not getting to these dudes. Anybody that's fighting for that kind of money, they already paid him. Like Mike Tyson, they told you what they paid him. $20 million. Jay Paul paid him 20 million. He already paid him. That's what he paid him for. Right there. You see that it's just, it is what it is. But yeah, I don't know, man. Shit. I think that Turkey, what he's doing is unprecedented. I never seen nothing like this. And I keep saying it. I never seen in boxing where one man controls all the pieces. Never seen that. I always seen Top Rank going against PBC, Top Rank going against Golden Boy, Queensbridge, and they're always playing cutthroat. One guy trying to pay a judge, or one guy trying to favoritism over here, or put a weight claw or something. So a bunch of snakes writing contracts, trying to outdo each other. But in this situation, Turkey owns both fighters. He owns Canelo and Terrence. He owned everybody on the card. He paid the checks. He wasn't playing against no one. I've never seen anything like that in my life. Where that, honestly, if he was to cheat, he'd only cheat himself. See, because either way, if Saul wins, he wins. If Terrence wins, he wins. If any of the fighters on his card lose, he loses, and every fighter on the card that wins, he wins. He controls both sides. He's paying both sides. All profits goes to him. Everything that he does or does not make, the event is his. He's got Dana White hosting it. Where is it that he's going against who? And then he's rich beyond fucking measures, right? So money's not his end game. He's not doing this to gamble. It's not like he's going, let me put money on Saul because I need the money. The fuck you way? What do you mean? What? He doesn't have to, he's not a gambler. He's not doing this so I've never seen anything like it. It's the most honest fight I've actually ever got to see. That when I actually broke it down in my head, I was like, this is about to be a real old-fashioned ass whooping, and that's what I saw. Terrence actually beat him. He actually lost, and there was absolutely no cheating done in this match. The judging was the judging, and they scored it correctly. I couldn't see it. And then sometimes some of these judges see it crazy, and I've seen some crazy scorecards with Turkey Al Sheikh. But I think
Round
that that's
one.
human stuff.
Question for you.
Yep.
Let's say that fight would have ended in a draw. Would you have been mad at a draw?
No, and I wouldn't be mad at the judges because that's the one thing that Turkey can't control. Because you got to remember, the judging in boxing are an outside entity that you got to request. They're like and they got their own organization, their own office. You call them and you request. Well, whoever they send you, they send you. You can't request one guy. Hey, I like this guy. Can you send that guy back? That's not how that works. They don't have to kiss your ass. They'll tell you what to do, the judging, and however they score it, they score it. You ever see Dana White after UFC matches go, the judges, that fucking judges suck. These judges gotta stop. These rules himself on his own event. You know why? Because that's the one thing you don't control. Even boxing does it. Oscar De La Hoya does it all the time. Bob Arum does it. These fucking judges, they need to get this shit right. I'm tired of. How many times have you seen a boxing promoter talk about bad about the judging? Because that's the one thing they don't control. The judging can just go like that, give them a big FU to everybody in boxing. They don't answer to no one. That's why Turkey can't control them. It doesn't matter. Like they're sitting there going like this, twitching their fingers because legitimately, they don't owe them nothing. And when the UFC was starting to make its way, what they were sending boxing coaches to the UFC. I mean, boxing judges to the UFC. They didn't know how to judge a UFC fight. And Dana White was ripping his hair out and he didn't have no more hair because he was saying that this judging sucks because they're sending us boxing judges when you don't know what a Kimura is. You don't know what this is. And Dana was fumigating because some of his matches got called wrong. Yeah, so that's always been like that in the sport of combat sport. The judging. That's always been a big problem, bro. Huge problem. Because I'm trying to sit here and tell you, some of these judges get flown in from halfway across the world and they were taught different on that side of the world. And they bring him in for your fight. And guess what? You lose because he saw it differently. That's all I'm saying, that it has to be a universal one teaching. It's going to be the same entity. They don't have to answer to nobody, but it's just like a fucking doctor. You go to a hospital. Who's one of the most powerful people on the planet? Doctors. You mean to tell me that if a cop was to walk to the room and the doctor tells the cop, leave the room, guess what he has to do? Guess what the detective has to do? Turn around and walk out the room because the detective does not have more power than a cop. Not in a hospital. He can't tell the doctor what to do. The doctor can make him shut up right there. The doctor can have you sanctioned right there. Arrest him, put him in the funny farm. That's all he has to say. Doctors are powerful, just like them fucking judges, bro. They're weird. They're like these entities but they're really powerful. That's like a judge in the NFL. Go ahead and touch him in the NFL. See what happens to you. That's why they gave him so much power, because you can't threaten a judge. Exactly what they are, a judge. Yeah, man. So judging is funny, man. It's fucking funny. Trust me. It's a big problem in sports, but it is what it is.
Now, round one, do you agree because this is what I tell people when they say, man, boxing is rigged. People are always getting the fight stolen from them. But I see it as boxing is not rigged or it's not stolen, but obviously it's how can I say it? I can't think of the word right now. But for example, like it's heavy influenced. Like all the close fights that
It's dysfunctional.
no. favorable. So, for example, let me give you an example.
Yeah,
Like all
I
the
get what you're
close
saying.
all the close fights that Floyd Mayweather quote unquote lost, but he ended up winning. It's because it was in Las Vegas. Floyd Mayweather is the one bringing the champion to his hometown, giving the economy a boost in Las Vegas. So,
Yeah.
of course, the judging is going to be in his favor because he's the head honcho. He's the one that's bringing the economy there. So, like they say, you have to beat him convincingly. It's not just going to be they're going to give you the fight because you won an extra jab or an extra power punch.
Okay, can
Like,
I
you
tell you
have
what
to
really
win him
happens?
convincingly.
Can I tell you what really happens? What
Go
you're
ahead.
looking for, I'm gonna tell you exactly what really happens in boxers' real life. What happens after the fight? The judges, they get a little tap on the shoulder by a man or a woman, and they get the invitation to come to the after party where the fighters sometimes are at. And for being a judge at my fight, I might award you or send over a little, a little piece, you
Nah,
know,
nah, nah,
and
nah, nah,
a
nah,
little,
nah.
a little.
I don't
Check it
think that
out.
happens.
Check this out. That's what happens in the real world. When we go to parties and stuff or functions, and some of these judges are there, are like the WBC convention or WBO convention, and judges are around. I'll send you guys a basket, and in the basket it'll have like cell phones, it'll have gifts for your kids, for everybody at the table, and then I'll send over a real expensive bottle of wine. And every time you're in the city, I know what hotel you're at. I'll pay for your dinner. I'll pay for your stuff, and that's just complimentary to me saying thank you. So the next time throughout the years, I do this with several judges, and every time my promoters around them, throughout a 10-year, 15-year span, you're going to run into the same judges here and there. You never know when he's going to come. I'm getting an echo from your phone. When he's going to come to your fight, right? Then all of a sudden, I remember 3 years ago, I got a basket. My kids got all these little gifts, and me and my wife had a great time. And you sent us these Elvis tickets, and we saw him perform, and it was a great night 3 years ago. And now here I am at your fight. Wow, that was great. These are kind of little innuendos and things that fighters and athletes and promoters. This is what we do. When I went to Sabria Matias's fight, Ed Hearn, you know what he was talking to? Those officials with the badges. He was always over there talking to those guys because every time, every fight, you never know which one they're gonna. But you want, hey, how you doing, buddy? How's the wife? How's the kids? Huh? What do you mean? You got the wait? I know a guy. I know a guy that can get that dent out for you. No, I don't want your money. Free of I'll take care of that. What happened? His room service. That the food was cold. I got you. You're not you're not bribing him, but you're softening him up. And throughout the years of you going, that's a process. And that's how I think a lot of these relationships are forged with these judges and stuff. And sometimes I think that some of these guys get to know each other and they see each other fight by fight and stuff. And human behavior is funny, bro. It's really funny. Sometimes you don't have to ask for things, people just do it for you. Look, man, you know what? I knew that was your guy in the ring. I gave him a round. I didn't ask you to do that for me. I did it for you anyway. You ever have that happen to you? You ever have someone do something for you you never asked for, and building relationships and stuff? These promoters kiss these judges' asses for a reason, and they send them little gifts and stuff. And I knew you were here in this hotel. It's not a bribe. It's a kind of like investment. Maybe one day, remember me. Remember, you were in the lobby with your wife and your kids, and they couldn't find your reservations. Give them my room. Hey, take and it's bullshit. You already have 2 rooms, but you come out. It doesn't matter where I sleep tonight. I'll sleep in the hallway, but as long as your family is okay, Mr. Judge. Yes, you're gonna be judging the fight tonight. Yes, yes, you get some sleep. That's right. Yeah, my fighter's Carlos. Yes, that's my fighter. Yeah. All right. You know, guys do crazy shit. So these are just relationships that are forged over periods and periods of time. You know? Yeah, that's it. So, Mr. Miyagi, listen, yo, thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you guys. I've been on for quite some time. I don't even know, a few hours, almost 3. Uh, listen, I have to get back to the gym tonight. We got to check out these fights, and we will get on and talk more boxing. Do me a favor, hit that like button for me if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, and like always, I'm on to the next one, Mr. Miyagi. You still there with me?
Yo.
All right, brother. I'll be checking you out, Mr. Miyagi. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on the next
Edwin,
one. Yeah, what's up?
quick one.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
see. I like the sparring footage that you got in.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what your punch selection is like,
yeah.
but I think you should be training the overhand right, slipping to your left for
Uh, uh,
OC.
Mr. Miyagi, don't tell no one. But my coach told me that I couldn't show too much on the footage. Just know that.
Oh.
All right, all right, all right. But